WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. This is Sportsvisions 92.1. You're listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Thursday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. I am Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones. We call this guy the Swiss Army Knife, a.k.a. Richie Rich. His government name, however, is Richard Holdred. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, DJ. Man, oh man, we are getting closer and closer to the weekend.
Closer and closer to the weekend, but I tell you what, we got one hell of a parade to celebrate today. The New York Knicks will have their World Championship world-class parade in Manhattan today in New York City.
I'm going to make a prediction, DJ.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the biggest parade in New York City since 1945 after the war was over.
I hope all of that is true, but more importantly, I just hope and pray that we have safety here because, again, I've seen these Knicks fans. They have done some wild things. And, again, hopefully this will be, a real safe, huge celebration for the New York Knicks because they so duly deserve it. 53
Absolutely.
Years that they waited for a championship title. Now, again, only as in New York, when you're getting around the holidays, you see the Macy's parade and all of the great celebrations, man. And this is how it's done. They basically put us on the map as far as how to do parades and ticker tapes. So hopefully, again, with all the gazillion millions of people that are actually going to be filling the streets of Manhattan, the lower Manhattan, that is, hopefully they can do this and get out of there safe.
Yeah, and they're going to start down at Battery Park and trying to see how you can watch it. It is going to be on the local TV stations in New York. I don't know if you might be able to just watch it online if you want to see the parade, but they're going to finish at City Hall and they're just going to go right through Manhattan, and it's going to be a great celebration. For a team that definitely deserved, the fans definitely deserve this. And I can't wait to see what that celebration looks like.
So it's exactly 1 hour after we get off the air this morning. Then they'll have the parade. They'll start preparing there. But I'm going to find me somewhere nice and cozy to kind of sit down and watch this because, you know what, I am enjoying it. And again, I spent time in New York years ago and when the Knicks were relevant and they were pretty good. And so I feel a little bit of this. Not that that's my hometown. I love Columbus. This is my hometown. But when you've worked somewhere and you've been a part of something and you've actually lived in a city that is celebrating a championship after, being away, not being a part of a champion for so long, then you get your heart bleeds a little bit for it. So I want to make sure that I, whatever little bit of New York experience I have in me, I share that sentiment and I watch a little of that parade.
You want to know a fun fact, DJ?
Yep.
In the short amount of time since the Knicks won the championship to up to now, according to Fanatics.com, the Knicks have sold more merchandise than any sports team in that short of a span, and they have completely blown records. There are a lot of Knicks fans that already had Knicks gear, but those are the championship T-shirts, and so Knicks fans are purchasing that, but a lot of fans just coming out and purchasing Knicks merchandise.
Hey man, the Cowboys and the Knicks, man, that's what they do. That's how they roll. That's exactly how they roll. Hey, let me do this. Let me say good morning to Bobby Brown. He is already taking his seat in the front row, and again, we got Rodney. Ricky Rogers actually is coming on. Bobby Brown, Ricky Rogers, and Rodney Lawrence. These are the first three seats in the front row. They're taken.
Yeah.
They belong to these gentlemen.
And we're just waiting on Ralph and Johnny.
Absolutely. First three rows of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Hey, listen, I want to say good morning to everybody out there in Facebook land as well as, of course, YouTube for watching. And again, Richard and I don't take it for granted that you allow us to help you get your day started. We know that we're here to inform, to educate, and to entertain you in the goings on in the world of sports. And although those guys that are seated in the front row already, you guys help us get our day started. Now, again, I have to say that because you really do. I love the way you guys are here and, of course, enjoying it. You're leading the way. You're leading the charge, if you will. Mm-hmm. And we are so appreciative of it. But for all of our friends out there in WLTC HD2, Sportsvisions, Radio Land 92.1, we love you. But it ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Hello, somebody. Richard, let's get this party started. We're broadcasting live from the PMB studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus, Georgia. And as I always say, just about a 40-yard dash down the street from the Aflac Tower. And Richard, I'm still waiting on you to get those measurements. I don't know if it's 55 meters or 40 yards, but it's right there in that vicinity where, again, you know what, if you got a good jump, if you got a good start out of the blocks, I tell you what, you'll be right in front of our PMB studios, and of course at the Aflac gates in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, the one way I'm probably going to end up measuring it is turning on my GPS on my watch.
That'll work.
Walking from the parking lot to where PMB is, and just measuring it from where the Aflac Tower is. So we'll get those measurements.
Absolutely.
Shortly.
Once again, as well, I want to send out my heartfelt, emotions and sentiments to the Georgia Bulldog fans. I mean, I tell you what a hell of a run, man. They did their damn thing, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The bats didn't come alive. The hottest team that we thought in America, the Georgia Bulldogs, were taken down by yet another SEC team. So, hey, I'm happy that we are going to be represented in the finals. But Oklahoma had their way with the Bulldogs, and I tell you, man, five home runs. That's a lot of home runs in one game. The Sooners took down the Bulldogs 11-4 and eliminated the Bulldogs and have advanced and punched their tickets to the finals that will be coming up on Saturday against North Carolina.
Yeah, you got two teams that have College World Series experience. The North Carolina Tar Heels trying to dethrone the SEC as they've won the last 6 SEC teams going up against North Carolina. How about the run that Oklahoma had? They didn't even host a regional. They had a huge upset. Remember, they lost to Georgia Tech in that first game.
Yeah.
Went on and beat the Citadel by 10 runs, and then they had to turn around and beat Georgia Tech twice to win the Atlanta regional, and then they beat Kansas in the Super Regional. And the run that Oklahoma's on, it's incredible, and it just goes to show it doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. As long as you can get into the tournament and you're playing hot at the right moment, that you can win this whole thing. And that's what the Oklahoma Sooners are trying to do as they get into the College World Series Championship.
Absolutely. And they got a pair of brothers on that pitching staff out there, man. I tell you, I can't remember what their names is, but obviously their mom, they kept going to the mom because every other day one of the brothers from the Oklahoma pitching staff would just have a great performance. And of course, it was certainly no different yesterday.
Yeah, no different. And you really got to tip your cap to the Oklahoma for getting the job done over the favorite that was left in the College World Series, the Georgia Bulldogs. But what a fantastic season by Georgia. Just Oklahoma, they're playing their best baseball right now. And they had a very different group of pitchers. They had a couple of pitchers that came in. They only gave up the 2 earned runs. They gave up 4 runs, but putting up 11 on that Georgia pitching staff is pretty impressive. And now the Sooners move on to the championship.
Championship indeed. Hey, listen, you know what? The parade today is not the only big happening in New York. I mean, the men's U.S. Open is going on right up the road there. Now, I think it's less than a couple of hours away up in the Hamptons there. But we had a chance to talk to our resident PGA caddy, Cedric Lamar, on earlier in the week, and he came to us boots on the ground from the course up in New York and getting ready. As he was walking the course, he's been hired. He's working the PGA Tour, and man, that was really cool to have him on the screen. On the actual golf course that they're going to be kicking off today, and with today, and giving us all the highlights leading into it. But again, some of your favorites. Again, I know that there's several people that you'll be rooting for.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get the tee off times, but the odds-on favorite is Scotty Scheffler. But if you want to talk about who could possibly win this thing, players let's take Tiger out of the equation. Players, active golfers with the most majors, Rory McIlroy right now with 6, Phil Mickelson with 6. They're trying to get their 7th. But looking at the tee-off times is actually teeing off in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They're getting an early tee-off time. 6:35 is going to be that first group that is going to tee off, and we'll try to keep track of that leaderboard. I'm trying to see if there's any notable names that's teeing off in that early group.
I don't know about any earlier names, but if we consider ourselves the hometown sports guys, we got to talk about Headley or
Russell Henley.
I mean, you got to come out the gates with that.
Oh no, I was trying to. That was the first person I was trying to find the tee time for Russell Henley, but I will make sure to get that that is the player that we are rooting for because he is, a Columbus resident. Yeah, he was born in Macon, but he lives in Columbus, and we are proud of Russell Henley, and we hope that he does well at the U.S. Open.
Absolutely. And again, hey, man, the Braves they're on a little tear here, and not for the good. Of course, they lost, they've only won one out of their last 5 ball games, 3 straight. And again, your San Francisco Giants have come in town and wreaked havoc here. And I don't know, again, what's the deal, but you know what? Even with the bad play, even with the not winning and how many 1 out of the last 5 games, they're still holding on to the best record in baseball, and they're being closely chased by the New York Yankees.
Look, DJ, and people know that I root for the Giants, but they've had a terrible season. So I don't know where this came from. The Giants have taken the first 2 games of the series. The Braves will figure it out. They are in first place for a reason. This does not reflect the type of team that the Braves are. They got one more shot to avoid the sweep today against the San Francisco Giants. When we had Chad Bishop on the show, he was talking about the Giants have just about everybody on the trading block and that they're trying to just wash away this season. And I agree because there's really nobody in that Giants lineup that strikes fear in the Braves pitchers. Casey Schmidt leads the team with 15 home runs. But other than that, not a whole lot that is going on. And I think that the Braves will try to ride the ship as they get ready for the next series. They're taking on the Milwaukee Brewers after the Giants series. But I don't think this is a reflection on the Braves. I think that, you lose the first 2 games in the series. You try to go for avoiding the sweep later tonight.
Let me just tell you something, in my humble opinion, that I feel with regards to professional sports and competition, period. First of all, let's just stay right there with the San Francisco Giants and the Atlanta Braves and what's happening here. You got one team that's playing really, really well and leading the Major League Baseball as far as their best record, and then you have the other team that's basically boo-booed in their pants. However, when you're talking about their careers and then, of course, the changes that could be made, these guys are all Major League players, regardless of how you feel, how they play. And on any given night, any given inning, they could turn it on, man. These are professional baseball players. So it doesn't shock me that they come up and knock off the Braves here, again, as they have been the last couple of days. But, if you're saying that the Giants are in shambles and these guys know that their career's on the line, they could end up maybe some places that they don't want to be, or they might get traded to somewhere they want to be. The bottom line is, you know what, when the pressure's on, you got to stand up, and that's what you see happening.
I think it could be extra motivation that these 2 clubs used to be division rivals in the NL West. I remember days when 1993, when they had the greatest pennant race ever. The Giants have met the Braves a couple of times in the playoffs. I remember as a kid going to Candlestick Park, and there were more Braves fans than Giants fans because that was in the 90s when the Braves were everybody's team because they were on TBS. But, yeah, I don't know. There's some nostalgic fans out there that remember how special this rivalry was, and I'm one of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, as far as just speaking specifically about the baseball players, it's a new generation, and these guys obviously know how their bread is buttered. They appreciate being in the professional ranks, especially in Major League Baseball. If they want to stay there, they got to play, and they got to play well. And again, it turns into an individual thing. You want your team to win, but hey, look, it didn't work. I got to do my job. You hear it all. Do your job, and then everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, but hopefully the Braves can try to avoid the sweep later tonight, and they're still in first place. So. I think that it's not going to be a reflection on how great the Braves are playing. It's just maybe the Giants are just, they took the first 2 because they caught the breaks, and we'll see how this season plays out.
And how about our Columbus Clinkstones down in Biloxi? Got a big 9-4 win. Home runs, David McCabe and Kevin Kilpatrick, man. The bats came alive, and I tell you, man, if that's what's to come. In the second half of the season, I know we're closing out the first part of the season, but these bats come alive, and I tell you what, these Columbus Clinkstones will be a force to reckon with.
Yeah, they needed this win. They just need to continue this momentum because they're taking on the Rocket City Trash Pandas next week for a 6-game homestand, and still time to try to catch Montgomery in the top of the division, and hopefully they could do well in this series. And if they just continue winning, they can might be able to compete for a playoff spot, because this really the goal is to get in the playoffs, and the first half is getting ready to come to a close in a couple weeks.
We want to welcome into the front row of the Sports Visions morning show, Jonathan Jones, Stanley Crowell, as well as Rodney Lawrence, Ricky Rogers, and Bobby Brown. So those guys have their seats. They are in the front row of the Sports Visions morning show. Let's go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more on the Sports Visions morning show.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow, but I'll be hood forever.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions morning show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Tiffany Maddox with a look at your morning's headlines. The Office of Elections and Voter Registration for Muskogee County says the final results from the runoff election are expected to be certified by the board by late Monday afternoon. This comes as 50 military and overseas ballots have not arrived, and 4 provisional ballots have yet to be reviewed. Meanwhile, Georgia's Republican legislative leaders rejected Governor Brian Kemp's call to redraw congressional and legislative districts during a special session. Lawmakers cite concerns about moving too quickly after a U.S. Supreme Court decision weakened Federal Voting Rights Act protections for minority voters. And we now know what's in the 14-point memorandum of understanding for the U.S.-Iran war. Some of the points include Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz with safe passage with no charge for the next 60 days, while negotiations continue, and reaffirms the regime shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. For WRBL News 3, I'm Tiffany Maddox. Make it a great day.
Good Thursday morning. We are off to a cloudy and mild start with these temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And as we go throughout the morning, we'll see a couple of breaks of sun as we track the remnants of Arthur arriving later this afternoon. Speaking of Arthur, we're going to be tracking heavy tropical downpours arriving this afternoon and continuing through tonight. Some potential for flooding possible along with some stronger storms. More rain possible on Friday before we see those rain chances decrease this weekend.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sportsvisions 92.1.
This hour brought to you in part by Gill's Auto Sales, now celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Attorney advertised, Lake Swan, 4751 Best Road, College Park, Atlanta, Georgia, 921-200-7066. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
What are you gonna do when that dog chase you? That's what everybody want to know. That's what they asking. They even chant his name. Go top dog. Go top dog. Go top dog. Go top dog. Get him top dog. Chase him top dog. Bite him top dog. Bite him top dog. When you call top dog, what you want him to do? You want him to go bite somebody. You mad. You angry. You in pain. Sick of top dog. Get him top dog. Bite him top dog. Get him top dog. Bite him top dog. What are you gonna do when that dog chase you? If you get into an accident, make the call. Call the dog. Top dog law.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Want to win a brand new Chevy Trax? Visit SonsChevrolet.com to register and get details. Sons Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
We got out of Washington State, and I think a week after, state went on lockdown for COVID.
So then when we transitioned to Texas, it was very much so like, what are we going to do now?
Operation Homefront has allowed our family to make something of ourselves again in the world after the military.
It's completely changed the way our life is. It took us from a hopeless situation, and now we're homeowners. We have a savings account. I'm the first one to own a home out of my siblings.
Visit OperationHomefront.org to learn more.
The YMCA is just a starting line.
For the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. Why is the before work hustle and after school home a section of my block, a corner to call my own? With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Find your why. Join today at ymca.org for a better us.
The only live and local sports morning show. It's the Sports Visions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on Sports Visions 92.1.
Start spreading. New York City, stand up. Boy, I tell you, man, they're going to have a celebration today, and it's going to be one for the ages. Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building. Richie, I tell you, man, if you had an opportunity to, of course, expense-paid trip to New York to be a part of this parade, would this be something that you would want to partake in?
Once in a lifetime opportunity, and I bring my family too. We went to New York 2 years ago. My kids were so amazed with Times Square. We actually we parked our car. We got through the Lincoln Tunnel and like an hour later because we had family that lived in upstate New York. And we were only an hour and a half away from Manhattan. Well, not really upstate, like Middletown. It's kind of, southern. It's in the other part of New York.
Right.
Hour and a half away. We went 2 days. We saw the Statue of Liberty one day. We actually parked on the Jersey side. The following day, we go into Times Square. The first thing that I thought of when we were in Times Square and we saw like where the Lion King has, there all those musicals, and then we saw Times Square, and I was like, where's Madison Square Garden? I would love to see Madison Square Garden while we're here, but we just didn't have time, but it was a great trip, and the kids loved it, and I would love to go back, and yeah, definitely I would love to be a part of this, but I would love my kids and my wife to experience it as well.
I tell you what, all the law enforcement agencies in New York got to come together because, again, this is going to be a mass of people. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see if the National Guard was able to come in and assist them, because you're talking about, hundreds of thousands and possibly millions of people lining the streets of New York City. And again, obviously, whether and I don't know how they do this, but I'm sure that they have restrooms or little portables out there available because you got people that's going to be, I'm sure they're already there. Here it is, 6:22 in the morning. The parade starts at 10. You got people that have been coming in probably, to get choice spots. I don't know the parade route exactly, but you want to make sure that you can at least, get a glimpse of the parade as it comes through. Now, there are going to be people in the city that won't even, that won't even get a part of being a part of that, the parade trail. Because, again, they're going to have all of these, you can imagine, in New York City, as you've probably seen in downtown with Times Square. They have all the digital billboards, and you'll see the pictures. Right. So a lot of people just want to be there for the atmosphere, for the experience, much less to actually be on a corner or on a street where the actual parade will ride right by.
And DJ, think about the visitors that are already in town because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that adds on to even more people that are going to be in Manhattan.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be exciting. Well, I'll tell you what, we got an exciting lineup today. Coming up in just a little bit, it's Throwback Thursday. So what are we going to throw back to? Well, we're going to throw back to one of the sports talk show personalities in the Chattahoochee Valley from years gone by. His name is Roger Schultz. And who is Roger Schultz? He's a beloved former University of Alabama All-SEC lineman. And again, Roger, I worked with him back years ago, back in 97, 98, when the WDAK studios were on Broadway. And, of course, we worked for AM 540, the Sports Monster.
Sports Monster.
With Mike V. And I tell you, those of us who had the privilege and opportunity to enjoy Roger, man, he was one big bundle of joy. He was a huge guy. Of course, he's an all-SEC lineman from Alabama, but he was one of the sweetest guys in the world. And caught up with him, a while back, and we're going to run it back for all of those fans to, of course, if you don't know Roger, this will be a perfect opportunity for you to get to know him.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear that replay of that interview. He had such a fascinating story playing at Alabama, and, he was I believe he's a grad assistant, like when they won that national championship in 92, or I think he was playing. I don't know if he was playing or he was a coach, but he went into coaching and then broadcasting, and he's got great stories.
Yes.
And it's great just to hear from him, and looking forward to that interview.
And for those of you who really were into, those times, he spent some time after the radio career. He spent some time at Columbus State University in the athletic department.
Okay.
He's an assistant athletic director, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go.
And but Roger, I tell you what, he's a chameleon. He's done it all. He's been there, done it, got the T-shirt. A guy that transitioned very well. And you often hear me talking about, transitioning from sports into the private sector, and because it is, it's tough in a lot of cases. But for those of us who have figured it out, man, again, it's a joy. It's a joy. But looking forward to hearing from Roger. Also coming up at 7:15, as he does come on a couple of times a week. He's the sports director over at WRBL, and he's, of course, Jack Patterson. He'll be with us. Nubyjas Wilborn, who is a very opinionated guy, and of course, the opinions of Nubyjas Wilborn do not reflect the thoughts or decisions of the Sports Visions radio show, as well as morning show and PMB studios, because Nubyjas Wilborn, he is a loose bag. He could come at you, and he is very, very knowledgeable about a lot of things that's going on in the world of sports. We just so happen to going to be talking about Brandon Sorsby and that gambling situation. And I tell you what, man, it's going to be interesting to see what Nubyjas has to say about not only this young man and the former Texas Tech quarterback, who has actually now declared himself going to be going up into the supplemental NFL draft here next month, but he's going to talk about gambling, period, in sports. And I tell you, man, he's going to be a loose cannon. And you know what? He's going to speak the truth. I mean, one thing is the truth, it hurts, but sometimes, you got to get it to hurt for you to understand it. And but looking forward to Nubyjas coming on. Also, another great part of what we do is, of course, informing. Again, we like sports. We do the stats. We do the games. We like to talk about your teams, your organizations, but the business of the SEC. My good friend Scott Williams, who is the director of multimedia sales, will have an opportunity. We talked to him again a little earlier in the week, but we'll also play that back by popular demands. We'll have an opportunity for those who did not have the opportunity to hear from Scotty. Well, we're going to have him on at 8 o'clock. And Richard, I tell you what, we are ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for all of our guests. And it's going to be a great show. And a Thursday that we've still got a lot of stuff going on, even some local sports as well. I do want to talk about Columbus United FC. What a comeback last night, A.J. McClellan Memorial Stadium. They were down 3-0 at half, and they came back and they tied it at 3-3. And then, of course, the Columbus Lions are going to be taking on the Jersey Bearcats this weekend, along with United FC, a military night, taking on Dothan United, their rival in the USL2.
Did I hear you correctly saying that you guys had a game last night at the stadium?
Yes.
And you called the game?
I did not call the game.
Okay, because I was going to say, your voice sounds so fresh and well kept. And, it's not even, froggy or, crackly as if, as you work. But, again, who called the game in your place?
Matt Melton and Tyler Dykes, and they did a fantastic job. They definitely know soccer. I'm glad that they were able to fill in for me because I did have a family emergency, but everything's fine now. And so that's the great thing about Georgia Alabama Sports Live, is that we have people that can fill in when needed. So appreciate the guys for filling in for me.
Absolutely. All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, all ears and eyes will be on the former Alabama great and, of course, turned radio sports personality, Roger Schultz, coming up next. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Girl, close your eyes. Let that rhythm get in.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
You know, Bear, everybody talks about price sells cars, and it does. But I tell you what sells cars better than that, and that's customer service. At Bratton Automotive, I'm going to be your personal sales representative. I'm Michael Bratton, and here we are the bank. Come see us today, and remember, everybody's going to leave with a smile.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Get your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
This Saturday at 7:30 p.m., Columbus United takes on rival Dothan United. And it's Military Appreciation Night presented by Scofflaw. Active military veterans and their families can get free tickets at Pro Real Soccer Shop inside Highside Market or ColumbusUnitedFC.com.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you know veterans enrolled in VA healthcare can use over 4,000 urgent care locations across the country to treat non-life-threatening conditions? It's easy and free. Just show your Veteran Health ID card. Get the best care for veterans. Sign up at va.gov or visit your nearest VA medical center.
Families from across the Chattahoochee Valley are invited to gather for fireworks with North Highland, a free community celebration taking place on Friday, July 3rd at North Highland Church, located at 7300 Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus. Beginning at 7 p.m., guests will enjoy an evening of live music, family-friendly activities, complimentary popsicles, and the community celebration leading up to a professional fireworks show beginning at approximately 9:30. Guests are encouraged to bring lawn chairs, blankets, family, friends, and neighbors. Free parking will be available on site.
Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be fatal. Don't use anything indoors that burns fuel, such as gasoline-powered generators, camp stoves and lanterns, or charcoal grills. Opening doors and windows or using fans isn't enough. Have your vents and chimneys checked to make sure water heater and gas furnace exhausts aren't blocked. If you feel sick, dizzy, or weak while using a generator, get to fresh air right away. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by the GHSA and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, 12 to 3 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions morning show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Roger Schultz, welcome to the Sports Visions morning show, my friend. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Man, I tell you, we went to you, but we couldn't hear you. But unfortunately,
I'll tell you right now, Roger, for just future reference on StreamYard, it gives you a setting on your computer. You sometimes got to go to that setting where it says audio and make sure your audio is connected to your headset. Sometimes there'll be, internally with a computer if you don't change that setting. No, so that's probably what's happening. Well, that's exactly what's happened to me. Can you hear me though? Yes, we can.
We can hear you, and you're looking good, Raj. I tell you, man. Hey, I was saying, you had lost 150 pounds or something. You lost a whole human being. I mean, how long ago was that?
That was 2008.
Okay.
164 pounds.
Wasn't that on some television show or some kind of program?
Yeah, I was on the contestant on The Biggest Loser.
Okay. Now we got it. Okay. Yeah. I said it. I didn't say it all buttoned up like that, but they got my point. Hey man, welcome to the Sports Vision Morning Show. We appreciate you joining us, man. And almost 30 years ago, man, you and I bet down on Broadway with a guy by the name of Mike V, man. And boy, did we have fun.
Man, we had a great time. I mean, it was, think about it, man. That was kind of the start of the sports talk industry. We were the first local sports talk all station, right? WDAK, the sports non-stop. And, on 740. And I know Scott Miller had been doing some stuff, but it wasn't like he was just on a news talk station, kind of did a sports show, but we're the first all sports station. And, it was interesting. It was fun. I'll never forget, that I was made like the general manager of the sports station.
Yes.
And Mike V was the programming director.
Yep.
And Mike V was talking to me one day. He goes, "You know what?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm the general manager." He goes, "You're the general manager? You're the general manager?" I quit. I said, I don't even know what the hell a general manager is. That better than you? I had no clue. V was the old radio guy. And but it was great. I mean, it was kind of fun. I mean, just kind of trying to get it started there. I thought we did a great job. You guys did the afternoon, I did the morning. Remember, I had a guy named Scotty Price with me.
Yeah. And
then we went with G-Man. Remember G-Man?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Scotty Price did. So it's when you look back at it, Alan Woodall. I guess I don't know. Is Alan Woodall? He was the owner of the station.
He's still around. Around. Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So he gave us the opportunity. I bet 30 years later, he didn't think me and you'd still be doing this thing.
Probably not. But no, he was great for us, man. And I tell you, the group that I work with now, they're just the same, man. Jimbo Martin, PMB Broadcasting, afforded me an opportunity to start this all sports talk radio show or station, Sports Visions 92.1. And of course, I had Mike V on yesterday. And again, gone full circle because the guy to my right, your left, is Thrift Barringer. He was normally on the board, but of course, we're baptizing Richard Holdridge, who you see up behind the board. Just got some extremely great, talented young men here in this community, man. And again, it's just nothing like when we started. We were the only three guys that had enough nerves. I almost said testicles to get on the radio and talk sports. However, it's just a great place to be. Of course, growing up in my home, my hometown, and then having the opportunity to, of course, be around here for almost 30 years in the business, and of course, to start Sports Visions, man. And it all started with us, man, doing what we do and taking our experiences, you from the University of Georgia and all the University of Alabama, and all the great things that you had been exposed to there. Me from University of Georgia. Mike is the common, rude northerner sports fan, rude. But we made it work, and that was a great thing. What you got going now, Raj? Obviously, you over in, is it Mobile?
Yeah, I'm living in Mobile, Alabama now. I still dabble a little bit in radio, and obviously the podcasting thing is something that I've been a lot of people trying to encourage me to do, and it's better now because at the end of the day, when you were talking, when you do a year-long sports show, sometimes you get sports you're not really interested in or have to talk about, but yet college football in the South is basically it's a year-round. Especially with everything that's just happened recently. With us NIL and the court case, the thing coming out of Washington. So there's a lot of stuff. It's crazy, but I'm living in Mobile. I work for Republic Services. We're a environmental solutions company. Basically, we haul garbage, but but I've been doing that now almost 10 years, but I still do the radio stuff. And, I'm on a local program here once a week. And so still keep my toe in the water, so to speak. So it's fun. I love it. I love radio. I've always loved radio.
What got you
podcasting or whatever we're doing? Just
right. What got you into doing radio? What made you want to be a broadcaster and stuff? If you played at the highest level, but then why'd you want to translate that into media?
Well, it's interesting. I think probably I would have stuck to coaching. I was a GA on the Alabama's national championship team in 1992, and I probably would have stuck to coaching. But all my coaches are like, "Man, you got a great personality, and dude, you need to go sell something." Because guys that were getting out working in medical sales, making $100,000, and the offensive line coach at Alabama was making $55,000. He's like, "Don't go into coaching, go into sales." And so I kind of did that. And I was always good with the media when I was at Alabama. And so I guess the natural progression to sports, this emerging industry, the sports talk thing happened as I was getting out of school. And I ended up doing a syndicated, that's how I ended up in Columbus. We were doing a syndicated prognostication show. It was called the Two Team Teaser. It was me, a guy named Terry Henley, who was an Auburn football player, and a guy named Matt Coulter. And it was a 1 hour during football season. We just kind of talked about the SEC and did our predictions against the line and all that kind of, did a little betting show, hence the name Two Team Teaser. But so WDAK carried it, or it carried it on one of the 740. Somebody carried it down there, and we were down visiting, and the guy's like, "Hey, I'm starting a sports station. Would you be interested?" And at the time, I'd just gotten laid off from a job. So, man, I didn't have a job. So there was this opportunity, and I thought, man, this would be great. I love it. I didn't, you can make money doing this. We found out we couldn't really make money, but we enjoyed doing it. But, so that's how I ended up getting into it. I did the local there. I ended up moving to Tuscaloosa. The guys that owned the rights to Alabama Athletics, owned a radio station. And I went up there to be the sports director and do an afternoon show. And then I ended up in Montgomery, and I was supposed to do a show with Jim Fife, the voice of the Auburn Tigers. That was the incentive to go to Montgomery. But in between me taking the job and me starting the job, the company got bought out by Cumulus. And so for some reason, Fife had to move on. I had contractual obligation or whatever. He had to leave. So that's when I got stuck, and I didn't have a host. And I said, well, Mike V, do you want to do it? Mike V was over in Columbus. I was with you, DJ.
Yeah.
And so he came over, and we started a morning show, and we rattled that town up with our show. It was fun. It was a good time. And then I got out of it and went to, I had to make some money. So I ended up getting out of it, but I always did a syndicated show called Two Team Teaser that was syndicated everywhere. With Stan White and I did a show on Sunday afternoons because nobody had a show on Sunday afternoons. And so about 2000, I started that show, the Two Team Teaser with Stan White, just recapping, Alabama, Auburn, and SEC games, and on Sunday afternoons. And it was it went over well. And I did a morning show in Mobile, Alabama. That's how I ended up in Mobile, Alabama. Initially, was to start a morning show, to come down here and join a morning show, not start it, but join a morning show. And that ended up, whatever, things happen. So, but, I've been in Columbus. I was in Columbus. I was at Columbus State there for a couple of years, in 2013 to 15, in athletics. Because my background I ended up going into Troy University and being the college administrator in athletics. So that's kind of, but it's been good, man. It's amazing to see how this industry's changed and everything now with podcasting and stuff. I mean, what a great, concept and everything. And now you guys are over the air and podcasting, right?
All of the above.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Roger, I do want to talk about Columbus as a sports market. It is very unique because you got a mixture of just about everything. It's in the heart of college football. It's also a military town, so you have the sports fans that come from all over the world being at Fort Benning. Just talk about when you're doing sports talk radio in Columbus, how important is it to try to get a mixture of just about everything to appease to not only your local college football fans in Columbus, but also to your military audience at Fort Benning?
Yeah, it is interesting because you do get all those people in that pro sports. Look, if you're anywhere else in the South, you really don't have to concentrate on pro sports. Nobody has a favorite. I guess Columbus likes the Falcons. I would assume, it's like down here in Mobile is like, well, we kind of like the Saints, right? People are passionate about the Saints, but the following's not very big. But when you get a military town and you get all those people coming in, man, you get those. I could just remember those diehard Green Bay. Those crazy Green Bay fans and stuff, and everybody coming down. You got to be sharp. But what it does, it makes for entertaining sports content. You can definitely fill a show. There's a lot of things to talk about, but then you'll get people, obviously I'm passionate about college football. So I have a tendency to lean that way, but I do love pro football. I follow all the guys that, played at Alabama, or our favorite guys in the SEC that went on and played college football. I like to follow them, but Columbus is, everything we always did, if we ever had a remote, we always had strong support, or really lively crowds, and people got into it, were passionate, had a lot of great, we did a lot of callers then. I don't know if you guys take callers or not, or what, but we were always like caller driven, and some, made some stars out of some. Ray
Ray from Milwaukee.
Ray from Milwaukee. Yeah,
Yeah.
he ended up being he ended up being a caller to being on the show. So, but
Ray.
yeah, old Ray, man, he was special. Man.
Why don't we do this? Let's spend a few moments. And again, we've already gotten 15 minutes into this interview, but I want to spend a few moments talking about your playing days at Alabama. And I know you are an Atlanta boy from coming out of a high school there in the metro area. But the teams that you played and the people that remember you, for the folks that don't, go ahead and let them know exactly what era and who did you play for and all that good stuff.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I know it. I don't have to look at a cheat sheet. I got this off the top of my head. So yeah, I went to Peachtree High School in it's in Dunwoody, Georgia, North Atlanta. And by the way, T. McFerrin, who's one of the greatest high school football coaches ever in the state of Georgia, just passed away, was my high school coach as a ninth grader. And then Dave Hunter, who's a legendary high school coach, ended up taking over. So I played for T. McFerrin and Coach Hunter when I was in high school. Went to Alabama in 1986. I was class of 86. I got to play in the Florida-Georgia All-Star game, the second annual Georgia-Florida All-Star game, which was pretty cool. But I went to Alabama in 86, and I went under there with Ray Perkins. So I played for Coach Perkins, Coach Curry, and Coach Stallings.
Wow.
And then I ended up staying 2 years as a GA with Coach Stallings. We won the national championship in 92, won the SEC in 89, played in the Sugar Bowl, played against Miami. And it was interesting I was a center and I played against two number one draft picks, Russell Maryland and Cortez Kennedy. One was to my right and one was to my left. That tape made it around the NFL, and I didn't make it to the NFL. So I think those guys should give me some money. I kind of helped them get a good first round pick. But so that's when I was at the University of Alabama. I had a lot of success. Was a 4-year starter. Started 44 games and was a freshman All-American, freshman All-SEC, honorable mention All-American. At Alabama, which means absolutely nothing. If I was at Ole Miss, man, I'd be in the Hall of Fame. But at Alabama, I'm in the bathroom. I'm on the third stall. So, but that's how it goes when you're a Bama guy. And now Coach Saban comes along, and I used to tell everybody I was a part of the national championship team, and then Saban came along and kind of ruined that because everybody's like, which one? I was like, well, none of these. But that's so that's kind of my playing history at the University of Alabama. But played with a lot of great players. Obviously Derek Thomas, Cornelius Bennett, Mike Shula was our quarterback. Because everybody always asks, and I told this to AJ McCarron one time. So I know AJ's dad, and AJ's dad and I, when he was a redshirt freshman, it's a spring practice. We went over. I just moved to Mobile doing the show, and he and I went to practice, and we're sitting down eating dinner somewhere. And I remember telling AJ, I said, "Look, man, most of these guys' careers are going to be based on how you perform, because everybody, if anybody wants to, without asking me what years you played, they go, who was your quarterback, right? And so you have to tell, and that kind of puts you in a place. So that's how it's crazy, but that's how people remember. But now when you look at with the NIL and all the money these stupid quarterbacks are getting, my God, it's, what I'm saying? But it's true, because that's how everybody goes, well, were you there? I said, well, Mike Shula was one of my quarterbacks. David Smith, who's an SEC official, was a quarterback of mine. I came in with Billy Ray, who was out of Atlanta, Dunwoody, Georgia, which was a crow's fly from my high school. That was the number one quarterback prospect. And he was there, but he never got a chance to play. But Vince Sutton from LaGrange.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Vince?
Yeah.
Vince was a play quarterback when I was there. Gary Hollingsworth played quarterback. Jay Barker came in towards the end of my career. So, that's how I try and tell everybody. But it's always kind of based on who the quarterback was. And I told AJ McCarron that, and it's true. But AJ probably one of the most successful as far as coaches. Quarterbacks at Alabama is pretty impressive resume that he has.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Roger, and since we're on college football, I got to ask, man, because last year Alabama obviously didn't have the year they wanted to. You beat after the Georgia game, there was a lot of momentum, and then the Vanderbilt was one of the all-time lows in the last couple of seasons, maybe last 10 years. But what's your thought on Kalen DeBoer? Because we hear a lot of Alabama fans coming out. They're so tired of him. They're making fun of the fact that he wears T-shirts on the sideline that they think that's unprofessional. And if he was winning, I don't think that would be a big deal. So what's your thought on DeBoer? And do you think he could actually do a good job replacing Nick Saban for a long time?
Well, look, nobody's going to replace Nick Saban at Nick Saban's level. I just don't know if that's going to happen. I know Alabama, you kind of reload, right, basically. And I think DeBoer's done a good job. I mean, the fact that he didn't lose anybody in the spring portal, no transfers, I think that says a lot. I don't know, is that good or bad, right? Is he a player's coach, or is he going to do a little bit of discipline? So it kind of makes me nervous, right? Like, no player left. Well, are you being hard on him? Are you too soft on him? And even DeBoer kind of admits that he was a little bit easy on the guys, or I guess wasn't so tough on them. But he's got to overcome that. But obviously at Alabama, man, you got to win. And I think that's what he's got to do. I think he's going to do it. I think I'm excited about the season coming up. They're kind of flying under the radar, right? Nobody's really picking them. Everybody's still picking Georgia to win the SEC. And even Georgia, Georgia won the SEC last year, right? I mean, and nobody, and everybody goes, well, did they? I thought Texas, it's like, like people forget but that's how great Georgia has become, is that the fact that they can win an SEC championship and nobody really knows they won an SEC championship. But because the standard's so high, right? The expectation is just like at Alabama, you got to win national championships. And that's what we expect from Kalen DeBoer. Hopefully he can, I think he's a little goofy. I think when he changed his office, like, I would have never changed Saban's office. I would have never. But he can't, he changed it and looks like a cell phone store. But from that nice oak, and I don't know, whatever. But it's what kids are different today too. I couldn't imagine being in high school getting $300,000 to play college football. I was so happy to get a scholarship and get my meals paid for. So it's hard to wrap my head around it. I never thought I'd be that guy, but I think I'm that guy.
I tell you what, Roger, you mentioned 300,000, but you got a young wide receiver by the name of Ryan Williams, who was bringing in about $2.7 million in NIL funds, man. And that's enough money to take care of the rest of the team for the rest of the year.
Well, no, absolutely. I don't know if he's sharing it with him, but I know one thing: he needs to be in the weight room instead of always on social media. It's like he goes from one influencer to another. He's like, and he's painting his nails, and I don't get it.
He's been at the Kardashians' home, huh?
He's just everywhere. It's like, what are you doing? Hey, can we play some football? Or, do you just want to be an influencer? Or you want to play football? Because at the end of the day, the better you play football, the longer your influence is going to be. I'm just going to say, and maybe that's a hard reality of balancing that, but I don't fault him for getting what he can get. I would have loved to have had any guy. We had a guy, but I tell you what's interesting, when this NIL thing came by, and Coach, obviously one of the reasons Saban's out of it is because I don't think he could manage it or whatever. But Bryce Young, when he was the quarterback at Alabama, when the NIL first came out, he was going to sign all these deals, and Saban said, don't sign those deals yet. He said, sign a couple of them, get some money in your pocket, but just wait till the end of the season, because one, you hadn't started yet. This is before he was just the quarterback at Alabama. He hadn't even, I don't think he'd won a game yet. And he said, just hold on. So he waits. He ends up winning the Heisman Trophy. Well, guess what his NIL value did? And guess what? Now he's signing bigger. Saban was smart enough to guide the guy in the right direction. So he waited till the end of the season. Now he's a Heisman Trophy winner, and Alabama wins the national championship and whatever. And now all of a sudden, that's a whole different deal. Or played for the national championship. I don't remember if they won it or not. I don't know if he'd won it, but it made a different deal. So Saban was good at guiding. Saban has always been good at guiding his players, whether to go to the NFL or not go to the NFL. But I think once, they're making more than the position coaches, that's kind of crazy.
Roger Schultz is our guest this morning on the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Roger, before we get out of here, I want to ask you this, because again, the Walter Camp preseason All-American team has been named, and of course Ryan Williams, as we talked about, the receiver, the outstanding sophomore receiver, but junior tackle, offensive tackle, Caden Proctor, how good is that guy?
I think he's gotten better and better. It took a lot of heat as a freshman, but my gosh, when you're a big old left tackle, he had a big body. You seen that body of his?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to get in there and as a freshman and be the left tackle and play. I thought he played it a good. I thought the main thing is he got better through his freshman year. Then he transferred or whatever. He's going to go to Iowa, but he came back and he tore his labrum. So he played with a hurt labrum all last year, but I thought the guy's outstanding. But, everything coming back is the offensive line is going to be good. And I'm excited that Ty Simpson kind of stayed around. He's kind of it's a different approach, right? He's a guy that stayed. I hope that he has success because he stayed around.
Yeah.
paid his due. He just didn't transfer somewhere else. He believes in being at the University of Alabama, and that's kind of refreshing. So we'll see how it pays off for him. But that's a good quarterback room. I mean, that Keelan Russell guy is supposed to be, everything I hear, he's going to be phenomenal. So this might be Ty Simpson's only year, but hopefully it's a good one. But that offensive line is, by Pro Football Focus, is rated like the #1 returning offensive line in the country.
Good deal. Roger, before you get out of here, let everybody know if they want to catch up with you on social media or if they want to hear one of your programs. Why don't you give that information now?
Well, I'm on social media. I have a Twitter account. I think it's Roger Schultz. I don't know what it is. But I do have one. So, yeah, you can follow me there. I don't put a whole lot on there. I mean, I'm not really social media savvy. That's probably why I'm falling down the line. And, but it's okay. I don't mind. But I'm out there. You can find me.
All right. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure to catch back up with you, man. Hey, don't be a stranger. We got to stay in touch, man. There ain't many guys that go back, 25, 30 years.
No, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. I'll definitely make a time to stop in and see you.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right. Appreciate it, DJ.
All right. Roger Schultz, one of the all-time great linemen for the University of Alabama, doing his thing over in Mobile.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Do you want to win a brand new car? Now's your chance. Just head on over to the Sports Visions website and register to win a brand new Chevy Trax from Sun Chevrolet. Winner announced June 20th at 5 p.m. Must be present to win.
Have you filed for disability benefits but were denied by the Social Security Administration? Or do you need to apply and are overwhelmed with paperwork? Are you between the ages of 50 and 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury? Thousands of hardworking Americans are in your situation. They file for disability benefits and are unnecessarily denied their much-needed benefit check. Call now for a no-obligation, free evaluation. We can help you nearly double your chances of approval and get your benefit checks faster. We understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact. We'll share our insider expertise and help you get your disability claim filed and paid immediately. There is a time limit to apply, so call right now. Operators are standing by to help you.
800-714-7917. 800-714-7917. 800-714-7917. That's 800-714-7917.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm going to have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Get ready for an unforgettable night at the Columbus Civic Center on Saturday, June 20th. Witness the Columbus Lions take on the Jersey Bearcats in a crucial American Arena League battle. More than just a game, this evening is dedicated to Peek Out, Cancer Awareness Night supporting a vital cause. Prepare for an explosive halftime show featuring a live performance by the iconic rapper Little Scrappy. And be sure to sign up for the Kick It to Win It Challenge at the merchandise table for a chance to kick a field goal for $6,000. Get tickets at the Columbus Civic Center.
The YMCA is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community, living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Find your why. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine. But if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
In Iraq, our truck hit a roadside bomb. I had about 16 surgeries on my hand so that I could regain function. And when I came home, I needed a new roof due to a storm. and I was about to lose homeowners insurance as well. I applied for Operation Homefront Critical Financial Assistance Program, and it's good to know that when we come home, there are people who are there that care about us. Operation Homefront, they've really been a blessing.
Visit operationhomefront.org to learn more.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans, download the VA Health and Benefits mobile app. It's like a one-stop shop for veterans using VA healthcare.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. Covering local and national sports. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. It's a Throwback Thursday. Big shout out to Bobby Brown, Stanley Crowell, Rodney Lawrence, as well as Ricky Rogers. Man, I tell you what, these guys have their seats and they are all set on the front row of the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge. Richie, I tell you, man, it's great to have an opportunity to, of course, experience friends like Roger Schultz. Of course, over the years, you meet some wonderful people. But again, you talk about going back 30 years in my in my radio career, and to be able to, still have a friendship with a guy like that is just incredible.
DJ, I would consider myself a broadcasting historian. I know it's not my official title. I've only lived in Columbus for 11 years, but I do appreciate the likes of Roger Schultz, Mike V, Bobby Z, the people that, like yourself, DJ, that paved the way here for sports talk radio here in Columbus to where it is today. And that's why that interview was captivating. It was powerful. And we're glad that Roger Schultz was able to take time and be on the show. And it was just such a great interview.
Well, I had the pleasure of traveling around the United States and being in a lot of different markets. I've lived in New York, as you know, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Denver, Colorado, out in San Francisco, Atlanta, Georgia. And Columbus is unique. I've been a sports talk radio fan for many, many years. And, the uniqueness of this area with all the great SEC support. And again, with local high school sports, it's incredible. And then you got your professional teams right there here in Atlanta with the Braves, the Hawks, the Falcons. And then you're not too far removed from some of the other folks in the region. But it just only makes sense, to do so. And for the life of me, I knew, back in '97 when I came back home, that that was a part of me that I needed to explore. And lo and behold, I ran into some very, very wonderful people who gave me that opportunity. And again, over those years, made some great relationships and just been able to do something that I love. And obviously, in terms, create the Sports Visions brand and integrate that into, of course, supporting all of our local high school coaches and players. And the rest is history.
Yeah, you've done a great job, you and along with Dale Williams, creating the Sports Visions brand for what, 22, 23 years now? You have done
22 years this summer.
Years.
Yeah, in August,
wow.
It'll be officially 22 years that
That's
we've been doing this. Yeah, it is amazing. But I tell you, man, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. And I know that, when we were little boys in Buena Vista Estates, Dale and I, we were in the yard emulating our favorite athletes, and of course, whether that be the NFL, NBA, or Major League Baseball, we did it. I don't see as many kids in the yard playing as much or at all as we did, because we would go out and just do it. I mean, again, we got in a lot of trouble because, again, breaking windows and being on folks' lawns that we didn't, they didn't want us in front of their houses or their porches or whatever. Again, it's been an experience, but I tell you what, it's something that I wouldn't hesitate to do again.
Well, I appreciate you, DJ, giving me the opportunity to do something that I've always wanted to do, local sports talk radio. There was one event that motivated me to want to get on the radio and do sports talk radio. 2018, I was listening to a show called The Sports Zone with Stephen Williams, and it was two guys that sounded like they just got out of college. And they sounded pretty good, but it motivated me because I'm like, why can't I do what they're doing? And then so I pushed myself. I started a podcast. I've been on other radio stations, but you and Thrift giving me this opportunity. I'm not going to take that for granted, DJ, and I appreciate the fact that I've been a part of the Sports Visions morning show for the past year and a half.
Well, Richard, as I tell you all the time, the only person that can stop you is you. You're talented,
Exactly.
You're gifted, and I don't know how many times I have to tell you this, but again, this is everybody can't do that. This is a gift. You have one of those gifts, and I know that the Sports Visions Nation hears it every morning when you're on, and they enjoy you. Of course, the folks on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. But again, I think that what you do in your heart and in your head will take control of how far you go in this business.
You are absolutely right, DJ. I'm my own worst enemy. No, I do. I have the passion for sports. The knowledge is there. That passion has always been there since I was a little kid. And in college, yeah, and it wasn't always perfect. I had some bumps in the road. But the thing is that if you love doing what you do, you keep doing it. And there's no stopping you but yourself. So you just got to bet on yourself and continue doing it. I've talked to people that have quit the industry, and I've always wondered, well, why'd you quit? I mean, but sometimes life happens. I mean, there are people still passionate about this that got the itch to do it, and that's why I think podcasting was a great mediator that kind of I needed to do my podcast because there were times where I felt like I needed to get some things off my chest. I needed to talk sports. And that's why I just appreciate all platforms that we have that ability to not only tell our story, but to reach out to that local community. And you go into the streaming games and, it's about the kids. And I 100% agree with that. And that's why I think all those aspects are very important when it comes to sports broadcasting.
And again, once again, we want to thank Roger Schultz, again, longtime buddy, and he's still doing his things over in Mobile, Alabama. And we look to catch up with him real soon. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll talk to the sports director, Jack Patterson, over at WRBL. I'm looking forward to chopping it up with Jack. And again, at 7:30, Nubyjas Wilborn. I tell you, with an interesting topic today. We're going to deal a little bit with the gambling situation on the collegiate level. And, again, what has been created. Obviously, there's a lot of brands and a lot of sponsors now that, again, makes it, I guess, okay to do that because, again, with them partnering with the leagues around college and professional, it's a common thing now with, sports gambling.
Yeah, nothing's out of bounds with Nubyjas Wilborn. Any topic, he can actually take a deep dive into it, and that's why we appreciate every time Nubyjas Wilborn comes on the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Richard, you used to be a big gambler back in your day, right?
No.
You used to shoot craps in the hallway in the bathroom at school.
DJ, I don't even do a $5.
You wear those dice around your neck for some reason.
Oh, the World Series of Dice? Yeah, I was actually on it. No.
Yeah.
No, I don't even do a $5 parlay. I've never got into gambling.
Yeah.
I mean, but I know that it's a big part of sports. I know that we have lines now. We now have over and unders. You can actually bet on whether a player gets 50 yards receiving or 3 touchdowns in a game. And I'm not going to knock it, but it was never really a part of who I am. But I understand that gambling is a big part of sports.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Mike Frost, who's listening out there. He's got his seat in the front row of the Sports Vision Morning Show. But, Richard, gambling has so many different facets and so many different levels. I mean, believe it or not, these lottery tickets that you purchase every week, that's gambling.
And it goes to the schools.
But that's gambling. I mean, it's almost like being a little pregnant. No, it's either you're a gambler or you're not. Either you're pregnant or you're not.
Look, and I know I'm late to the party, but I just started binge watching The Sopranos. I know. Gambling, big part of the mafia, and I don't want to end up meeting Big Paulie with a baseball bat. And
yeah,
I know I went there.
Yeah. Well, Nubyjas, like I said, we're going to have a nice conversation with him, and we'll go, behind the ropes. We'll peel back the layers and just go there and talk a little bit about the gambling and collegiate football today. Collegiate sports, not just football, because again, you got basketball players, and obviously we're in the World Series of baseball right now. And again, who's to say that some gambling is not going on with what's happening out in Omaha?
Yeah, there's a possibly a good chance that there could be some gambling. I mean, people are betting on anything.
Yeah, they bet on anything.
They bet on anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I would not be shocked if they bet on middle school games.
Hey, listen, you know what the deal is coming out of South Florida, and from what I'm understanding, travel ball now. That little league ball, little league youth
on
sports.
Little League games.
Yeah,
you have a gambling problem if you're betting on Little League games, but they're betting on the coin toss in the Super Bowl. They're betting on how long the national anthem's going to be. I mean,
Richard, they're betting on what kind of haircut you're going to come in with each and every day. By the way, that's a nice cut.
I did get a haircut yesterday. I was tired of the long hair. I made a joke.
You put that pressure on yourself because you went after Thrift, and Thrift has this long, beautiful hair, and you know how long it took him to get that?
It probably took him like 5 years. I said I wanted to get my hair as long as Thrift. That took me 5 months to grow it out, but it's the summer. It was hot. I felt miserable at times, and I felt like I just got to get a cut. But I wanted people to say, hey, I got long hair. I'm no longer in the military. But I like being comfortable. I like the fact that I don't have to comb it or use gel. So that's why I got a haircut.
You didn't hear me complaining, buddy. If you like it, I love it. I mean, if you wanted to grow the long locks down your back, but I wanted to really see the full beard come into play.
I'm not quite ready to do the beard. I still kind of every time, it gets irritating when I do have a beard. So I'm just not used to it yet. So I like the clean shaven look. And yes, and I'm still not in the military. People would probably still think I'm in the military with my clean shaven look.
All right. At 8 o'clock, our guest will be on. And this is one that I always, I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I mean, like I'm sitting on the front row of the classroom when we have Scott Williams on. And Scott is the director of multimedia sales with the SEC Network.
Oh, yeah.
He's my former teammate, my best buddy, my frat brother from college, but he has gone on to do wonders in the business world. Again, one of the very first jobs that he had was working for Turner Broadcasting, and of course, working with the Braves as well. But now he's with with the SEC Network, a company within the Disney family, and very well thought of, highly regarded. And he goes out and gets the bag, and that's what again. But coming back and hearing him articulate, how he's able to do his job and work with his team of sales folks that work underneath him and the company is really intriguing when you hear it, and you can feel and understand, why they're so successful when as soon as the cameras turn on Scotty and you see that bright beaming smile, it automatically pierces your heart to know that this guy's going to bring some positivity to my day, to this conversation. And again, you'll have an opportunity to experience that as well at 8 o'clock. So look forward to talking to Scott Williams.
Yeah, Scott is always entertaining as well. Just the energy that he brings to the room. Had a chance to meet him a couple times. SEC Media Days last year. He was one of the first people that greeted us, and he's just always got a smile on his face. And then he was actually part of the CSU golf tournament. Then he came down and was part of your team there. And he had this glowing personality. That's what I love about Scott Williams.
Absolutely. All right. I'll tell you what, Mike Frost checking in, and he says, Richie, give me some of that gift. He wants it.
What gift?
That gift that you have. Yeah.
What do I got?
The gift that you have of gift for gab, gift for rambling, gift for articulating the sports.
Let me tell you something about Mike Frost. This guy knows so much about sports. His knowledge, I would put it up there on par with me.
Okay. I didn't think there was anybody better.
Frost,
Frost is with you?
I am so impressed with your sports knowledge. I tell you, keep it coming. So he has like a Facebook page, and Frost, I'm challenging you. You need to do a podcast, Ice Cold Sports. That's his Facebook page.
Okay.
I think it'd be fascinating. He really schools me on like all the local stuff that's happening around this, and really he breaks the news too. Yep. He gets this information. I don't know how fast he gets this information from, but he does a great job upkeeping that and just putting down the sports scores and any news that comes across the news wire as far as sports goes in the Chattahoochee Valley. So Frost, keep it up. And I know we're expecting that podcast very shortly.
Big Frost is a cool, smooth operator. I tell you that. I enjoy hearing him do his thing as well. We appreciate you listening this morning, my big guy. Listen, Richard, I want to get back to Georgia. And again, I want fans to realize again that there's that's not any small fry. They got knocked off yesterday by Oklahoma, but at the same time, a tremendous season, one of the better teams in the country this past season. Unfortunately, they went down 1 over 50, I think 53 games this season.
Yeah,
man, that's not a small fry, and Coach West did a tremendous job with this ball team. And again, getting this far is a lot of teams that were watching the television just like we were. It's a lot of teams that Georgia played. and a lot of teams that wanted to play Georgia. But again, their season is over now, and they'll have an opportunity to regroup and get ready again for next season.
Yeah, we're disappointed. They were expected to win, and that's what we were hoping for. But I know that Coach Wes Johnson is going to get them regrouped and ready for next year. But you look at the 3-year run he's had. I know we're disappointed, but it's been a fantastic three-year run for the Georgia Bulldogs.
And we can't forget about those Trojans, man.
What a
phenomenal year, and we appreciate the fact that they went as far as they did. And, of course, with that said, look, we're going to take a real quick break. When we come back, Jack Patterson will be right here on the Sports Visions Morning Show. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Tiffany Maddox with a look at your morning's headlines. The Office of Elections and Voter Registration for Muskogee County says the final results from the runoff election are expected to be certified by the board by late Monday afternoon. This comes as 50 military and overseas ballots have not arrived, and 4 provisional ballots have yet to be reviewed. Meanwhile, Georgia's Republican legislative leaders rejected Governor Brian Kemp's call to redraw congressional and legislative districts during a special session. Lawmakers cite concerns about moving too quickly after a U.S. Supreme Court decision weakened Federal Voting Rights Act protections for minority voters. And we now know what's in the 14-point memorandum of understanding for the U.S.-Iran war. Some of the points include Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz with safe passage with no charge for the next 60 days, while negotiations continue, and reaffirms the regime shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. For WRBL News 3, I'm Tiffany Maddox. Make it a great day.
Good Thursday morning. We are off to a cloudy and mild start with these temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And as we go throughout the morning, we'll see a couple of breaks of sun as we track the remnants of Arthur arriving later this afternoon. Speaking of Arthur, we're going to be tracking heavy tropical downpours arriving this afternoon and continuing through tonight. Some potential for flooding possible along with some stronger storms. More rain possible on Friday before we see those rain chances decrease this weekend.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sports Visions 92.1.
Hey, folks, this is Michael Bratton, and I want to say thank you to all my customers. Without you guys, we wouldn't be in business today. Remember, we're going to take care of you before, during, and after the sale. My sales team has over 100 years of combined automotive excellence. Shop us today. Shop us at BrattonAutomotive.com. And remember this, I stack them deep and sell them cheap.
Hello, I'm Ozempic, and I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Hey, are you shaking a maraca? No, I'm shaking the pill version of Ozempic, which no one should ever do except in ads like this.
A nice disclaimer.
Hey, thanks. Ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of the Ozempic pen or pill may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide tablets, 9 milligrams, and Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams.
There's a pill version of Ozempic.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he's checked in at 6'1", 265 pounds. Jack Patterson. Good morning, Jack. How you doing?
Morning, fellas. What's good?
Hey, man, looks like you are ready to go. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, just getting ready to go run some errands. But first, we got to have our little Thursday get down, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's just start with some good news. I know that there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but the good news is that we got a ticker tape parade that's going to go on in a few hours. The fact of the matter is that we have one of the best indoor football teams in the country right here in Columbus, Georgia. I mean, where do you want to start?
Let's start with those lines, okay? One game left in the regular season, looking to have a perfect regular season, taking on Jersey this weekend at home. You got everything on the line. You got an opportunity to have a perfect regular season. You're already in the playoffs. And then on top of that, you're going to have Lil Scrappy doing the halftime show. I tell you, Roger Beck and Corey Black just keep like if they make it to the championship game, which I have every thought that they're going to make it, I wonder who they're going to have for halftime in the championship game. Because at this point, I have no idea.
Word on the street, Future and Jay-Z are not out of the question.
You know what? Knowing them, I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
I tell you, they pulled some stuff out of their behinds this year. I'm excited about them. Hey, man, listen, our Atlanta Braves, for whatever reasons, and again, I mean, they've been on a losing skid. They lost, won one out of the last 5 games, 3 in a row to, of course, primarily to the Giants. Is there any room or is there any reason to get hysterical about that?
Now, we on this radio program in both iterations of it, both the afternoon and the morning, what do I always tell y'all? Calm down. Okay? You have to understand that you're not going to win every single game. This is a 162 game season, okay?
Okay.
Everything is not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, okay?
Okay.
Like it's not like most teams, go into it and win 120 games, okay?
All right.
Because for a good bit of time, that's the pace the Braves were on, okay? To win 110, 120 games, okay? All this is right now is things evening out a little bit. Even the best teams have losing streaks during the season in MLB in the MLB season. Okay. I mean, look, the LA Dodgers just lost a series to the same Chicago White Sox that the Braves struggle with. Okay. Once again, calm down.
I feel so much better now, Jack, that you said that. Yeah.
Like, don't over exaggerate. It's the middle of the season. Okay. Talk to me if we're doing this in September. Okay.
All right.
If we're doing this in September and the division race is under 3 games, okay? But there's so much time to correct this, okay? So much time.
This
okay?
conversation is so therapeutic. I appreciate it, Jack. You're settling me down. You're getting me. Yeah, you're getting me. Yeah. I like it.
I understand nobody wants to lose, okay? Nobody wants to lose, all right? But at the same time, like I said, and I'd be more concerned if the Braves were getting shellacked all over the place. Okay, they lost 7-5 last night. Okay, like if we were getting hammered all over the place, and we weren't pitching and we weren't hitting, like I'd be somewhat concerned. But the pitching is there, but maybe teams got a run or two. And that was the difference, okay? The Braves don't get clobbered a lot, okay? It's usually a 1 or 2 run game that they lose, okay? So like I said, let's pump the brakes. Let's calm down. Let's not, overreact and sit here and think the world's going to fall. Like, I trust me, I know this because I have friends who have come and asked me what's wrong with the Braves. I was like, listen, they're human, okay? They've gotten out to a really fantastic start to the season. They were 25 games over 500, okay? At some point, the guys are going to have a down streak, okay? Not the end of the world. Just relax. Now if they come out and have a 10-game losing streak, then yeah, there's cause for concern, okay? But right now, just relax.
Jack, I am getting excited about In the Trenches. That only means one thing. High school football season is just around the corner. I know that you guys are getting those production meetings ready to go. Just talk about how that's going for another season of In the Trenches.
Yeah, so we were over. The last 2 days we were over in Auburn, getting some stuff taken care of with the Tigers. Yesterday we had a series of interviews with the team, and we'll be over there again a little bit next week to grab some more video. And me and Drew Platter were hard at work trying to make this season the best season. I was talking to Rex Castillo yesterday. I was telling him that I'm excited for it, but I got a standard to live up to, the standard that he and Drew have put put together over the last 4 years. So, I'm definitely putting my best foot forward and hoping to make this year's In the Trenches the best season in the trenches.
Good deal. Good deal. Jack Patterson is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions morning show. And Jack is, of course, the sports director at WRBL TV News 3. And Jack, I know that you put me at ease with the Braves. You gave me, a little sense of comfort. Can you do the same thing for the Georgia Bulldog fans out there, of course, after the dismal loss out in Omaha yesterday?
Listen, Georgia had a fantastic season, history-making season. Most wins ever in a season for the Georgia Bulldogs, had 53 wins and made it to the Final Four, okay? Now, obviously, it's not the outcome that Georgia fans wanted, losing to Oklahoma before you make it to the national championship series. But, you just tip your cap to Oklahoma, because I was explaining this to some of the folks in the office is that, the big thing about, any postseason in general, but especially college baseball postseason, is not just about what you do in the regular season. The regular season plays a big role, okay? But you have to be playing your best ball going into the playoffs so you can maintain it, okay?
Yeah.
And, I look at a team, North Carolina, they've been a phenomenal team all season long, okay? They were number 5 national seed. They've been fantastic all season long, okay? But I look at a team like Oklahoma, who wasn't a national seed, okay? But they started playing their best baseball at the right time. You look at it, they went through the Georgia Tech regional and took down Georgia Tech, who was the number 2 national seed. And then I forget who they played in the Supers, but I know they had an easy time in the Supers. And then they come into the College World Series and they're playing their best baseball right now. Okay? Their pitching has been rock solid and their hitting has come through when they needed it to. Okay? And it's not that Georgia has played bad. Georgia's played pretty good. Okay? But when you run into a team like that, sometimes all you can do is just tip your cap.
Absolutely. Big Jack, hey, man, we appreciate you as always. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media and when we can see you on television.
All right, so you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me and the sports team on Twitter using the handles below. Follow us on Facebook as well at WRBL News 3 Sports. And then watch us on TV tonight at 11 o'clock tonight. We had the St. Jude, the big home giveaway today at 6, so you won't see us at 6. But you'll have Tyler Redman on your TV tonight at 11, and he'll give you the recap on everything here in the Chattahoochee Valley.
By the way, you know where that ticker tape parade for the Knicks is going to be on this morning?
I don't know if it's going to be a specific channel. I would assume probably NBA TV would have it, but that's an assumption. And I know ESPN is probably going to be all over it. Whether they show the whole thing or not, I don't know, but I know that they'll at minimum probably be dipping in and out of it.
Good deal. Thanks for the information, and man, have a great rest of your morning.
Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, Jack. Take care, buddy. That's Jack Patterson. And I tell you what, we needed that information. And again, I was hoping that he could say, well, we got it on CBS, but no. Great information. No, I guess not. But hey, listen, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Nubyjas Wilborn, we'll talk to him and tell you, man, listen, buckle in tight. Make sure your seatbelt is on because we're going to take you on a ride. You're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Columbus drivers trust Uperlube. Fast service, honest work, and that Uper pride. Uperlube services are full oil change, transmission drain and fill, wiper blade replacement, battery checks and replacement, CVT transmission fluid change, and headlight restoration. You can't go wrong with Uperlube.
This Saturday at 7:30 p.m., Columbus United takes on rival Dothan United. And it's Military Appreciation Night presented by Scofflaw. Active military veterans and their families can get free tickets at Pro Real Soccer Shop inside Highside Market or ColumbusUnitedFC.com.
Lori's Furniture Express, your express way to saving.
Did you know that Gory's Furniture Express sells rugs? They do, and they have all colors and sizes for every room in your home. You can get a 5x8, an 8x10, and even room size 12x15, and they've got hundreds to choose from. And that's only at Gory's Furniture. You're going to love this place. Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Gotta get to Gil's Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gil's. Selection and price, got to get to Gil's. Gotta get to Gil's.
Happy 40th anniversary to Gil's Auto Sales. This will be a year-long celebration with inventory and deals like you haven't seen in a long time. Every lot in Gil's' lineup is stocked with a car, truck, or SUV that you've been dreaming about. Hey, want to save more than ever before on the vehicle of your dreams during the 40th anniversary celebration? You gotta get to Gil's. You're waking up with a Sports Visions morning show on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
He's no stranger to the Sports Visions Nation. Again, in fact, he's kinfolks in my book. Scott Williams, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, fellas. Good morning. How are you guys?
Wonderful, man. I tell you
Always
what.
appreciate you having me on.
I thought I had a lot of energy in the morning, Scott. Man, let me tell you something, man. That smile that irradiates, and again, we have a mantra. We love to help get your day started, man. People can see that smile every morning. I know your crew, your team, your sales guys, they have to be motivated by you because you always got that positive, bright smile on your face.
Man, you know what? I talk to them about, even when they're making sales calls, that they should have a smile on their face, because you can feel it in the conversation and you can feel it through the phone. So I'm a believer in having a positive attitude, smile on your face, and conducting business the right way, man.
Absolutely.
It's essential. It's essential.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, listen, I know that you're familiar, people are familiar with you on the Sports Vision Nation, but I can't take for granted that everybody knows who you are. So I'll let you give us an executive summary of your career, not only in sports, but on the business side to, of course, lead to this wonderful opportunity.
Oh, man. Yeah, it'll be short and sweet, though, man, because, you know, I'm just a sales slag.
Yeah.
At heart, I'm just a sales slag. But, man, after I finished messing around in that NFL league with you, I wanted to go into sales, man. And that blame before I went to the University of Georgia, I went to work for a station called WRET in Charlotte, North Carolina. And little did I know at the time, the call letters actually stood for Robert E. Turner. Fast forward a little bit, I ended up interviewing and winning a job that took 9 months of interviewing. I won the position to come in as an account executive with Turner Broadcasting back in 1991. And lo and behold, they said, "You're already in the system." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They said, You're already in our system. You worked at WRET." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." So, man, I went from there. I worked for Ted Turner for 18 years, helped launch a couple of networks. DJ, man, it was absolutely unbelievable. And, you know, his recent passing touched a lot of us, man. But he was a true genius. There were days you would come in and he was, I don't know how to say this right, but I'm going to say it. It was like he was borderline genius and borderline insane all at the same time. And I'm not being disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
That was his brilliance, because what he would do and say and ideas he would have, people would look around the room and be like, "Is he serious? Or is he kidding? Which is okay?"
Mm-hmm.
And he is for real. Okay, we are going to do that. And so I had that in my background, man. Went over and worked with managed corporate partnerships with Atlanta Braves for 5 years. Kept my eye on an opportunity that at some point I felt like they would launch a network. The SEC would launch a network. And I made some contacts and they kind of disappeared. And lo and behold, one day after Christmas, back in 2013, a guy that I used to speak to in the break room at Turner Broadcasting called me up to see if I could help him a minority candidate for a position that he had. I was like, yeah, man, I'll meet with you. Come on. We sat down and talked. And little did I know it was actually the position that I have now.
Okay.
I quickly, caught up with what was going on and said, hey, man, your candidate is right here, and it's me. And, man, I came in for the launch in 2014 and been running ever since, man. It's been extremely beautiful.
Scott, I do want to talk about the success of the SEC in college baseball. They have won the last 6 championships. They had 5 teams, 4 left in the College World Series. Do you think that the success that SEC teams have had kind of attributes to NIL starting to trickle into college baseball? Now these top prospects in high school are choosing the college route, and there's been a lot of talent here in the Southeast that players that would normally get drafted by a major league club and spend a couple years in the minor leagues are choosing to play college baseball.
Man, I think what it has done is it has enhanced it. I think the strength of the SEC has been there for a while, but I think the money now is enhancing the staying power of those athletes. So like you said earlier, they might have chased the money and jumped into single A, double A, triple A, and trying to get in the system and work their way up to the big team. I think now it kind of enhances the depth of the rosters, and they might stay around a little bit longer and mature a little bit more and, work on their craft a little bit more because of that NIL money. And you think about the infusion of it, it approaches the level of if you're not one of the top draft choices in Major League Baseball and you're somewhere around in the middle levels, it approaches being more money than that. And so they're feeling like they're better off staying and playing in college and not getting on that bus and driving over to the little podunk towns, riding on a bus, eating sandwiches out the bag, man, and get that $112 a day per diem. So I think the NIL money has enhanced it, but I think it just creates a great situation for the kids to stay around longer, and I think that benefits the SEC.
Scott Williams is our guest this morning on the Sportsvisions Morning Show, and he is the Senior Director of Multimedia Sales with the SEC Network. And Scotty, I hope that, again, your title seems like changes every 3 months or so with regards to you on the incline. But the SEC, and I love to have you on because obviously we give everybody out there a little bit different take with regards to somebody in the front office, somebody in the money room, that somebody's out there that's, canvassing the nation. Actually, it's international now, I think, with regards to bringing money to the table for the network and all the wonderful productions that you have in all sports all the time. We always talk about football, and I may mention to it, and don't get me wrong, I love it too. But there's so much more that you guys that you were governed to be responsible for. Baseball, obviously, it's no strange fact that what they're doing in Omaha right now is a big deal. Of course, the outstanding performances in the NCAA track tournaments or track meets over the spring. But talk about the other sports, Scotty, and how they spill over into the meetings and the talks and the conversations as you're dealing with all the sponsors and all the business that you have to deal with.
Yeah, man, there's been an emphasis in what we call the Olympic sports. When you think about what's going on outside of football. And, man, it is absolutely phenomenal. I was watching Saturday as the UGA's women track and field team won. And just prior to that, the men ended up finished second. And I think the women won outdoor and indoor.
Mm-hmm.
When a couple of years back when Title IX was coming around leading up to the women's, 50-year anniversary, there was an emphasis on targeting more advertisers and bringing them in to help support more women's initiatives. And man, holy smoke, it has exploded since then, and it hasn't stopped. I think oftentimes football is at the forefront, and don't get me wrong, it should be because it is the moneymaker.
Right.
But the emphasis that Commissioner Sankey has put on us working with the women's sports and the other ancillary sports, it's absolutely phenomenal. And what we've seen is an uptick in viewership on those other sportsmen and the increased attendance and the importance, and then carving out money. You know, there's that $20.5 million from the NCAA settlement that you always see, and you look at the percentages that goes toward football, oftentimes in that 75% area. But what they're doing is they're not only creating greater opportunities for these other sports, the NIL collectives are able to now spend more of that money towards women's sports and softball and baseball and gymnastics. And so it's a fertile ground, man, and it has been absolutely phenomenal for the SEC.
Scott, we are almost a month away from SEC Media Days, which will be in Tampa for the first time. They've had it in Dallas, Nashville, Birmingham, Atlanta. It is now in Tampa. What are you looking forward to with SEC Media Days being in Tampa this year?
Man, I'm loving every minute of it, man, because my boys group, man, for about 5-6 years, we didn't go this year to Tampa, but we would go down to Tampa and we would play all the good golf courses down there, man. They have a ton of courses down there. And I'm a seafood guy, man, so I'm looking forward to it. You know, when we started doing the moving of media days a few years ago, people were kind of wondering, how will this work? It has been phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Every city has received us in a great way. People storm into town, we bring money in, and we spend money, and we eat food, and we play golf, and we have a good time. And we take care of business while we're there as well. Now, don't get me wrong. We take care of But I'm loving it that we're going to go down there because it's familiar to me, and I'll play some good golf while I'm down there and eat a lot of good seafood.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Scotty, you know, you guys just left a meeting, and I know that every summer or every spring, at the end of every spring, you have a meeting, and I don't know if it's at the same place in Florida all the time, but you do have a meeting. What are the goals and what are the meanings for these meetings?
So, man, there are so many things going on at the same time. First of all, it's in Sandestin, and we do it there every year. We pretty much buy out the whole entire hotel property, the resort, and we have a lot of stuff going on. Man, the SEC really, really puts on a great set of meetings, summit, if you call it. There are content committee meetings going on. There are meetings going on with the commissioner and the individual coaching staffs. Primarily, football gets a lot of attention, and especially this year because the primary topic was expanding the 24 teams and will the conference football championship game survive? A lot of conversations were held about that, and I think the position that Commissioner Sankey expressed to the media was that there's a contract in place through 2033, I believe, with Disney, and he plans on fulfilling that contract. One of the things that he knows and understands, and he's been tasked with driving revenue for the conference, and you hear a lot of coaches saying things that, in my mind, I'm looking around like, whoa, wow, mentioning things about, has the SEC championship game outlived its usefulness?
What?
Alabama AD. I'm going to call it a name, but Alabama AD. Some other folks talking about maybe branching away from it. Man, saying things that, in my opinion, probably shouldn't have said. But I think what ends up happening is when you look at the money, Commissioner Sankey is tasked with driving revenue for the conference and the membership. If you take away one of the biggest money makers that they have, how do you replace it? They did a 10-year, $3 billion deal with Disney. That's my parent company. That's who I work for, Disney. They did a 10-year, $3 billion deal with Disney that runs through 2033. If you get rid of that, how do you make that money up? And you're in an environment where you're out there trying to drive revenue any way you can. Look at what the Big 12 did. They partnered with a private equity, not in the true sense because they don't have ownership and voting rights of what goes on, but that's the first step towards trying to find revenue in a different way, in a different fashion, trying to be new and creative, and the baseline of that was to try to figure out a way to increase their TV money. Well, SEC has the biggest TV contract. Why would they walk away and give that up? Now, it's a fight between SEC and the Big Ten, but that's going to go on. We saw the other two of the Power Four, meaning the Big 12 and the ACC, kind of fall in behind the Big Ten because it means more money to them. If it expands to 24, they will get more teams in, means more money to them. And that's why they like that. But man, it is it's a great meeting when we go down there every year. And the part that we deal with primarily, we deal with our 15 official sponsors. We bring them in. And prior to going down there, we have individual meetings with them to discuss their initiatives for the upcoming season. And then we get down there and we finalize some of the assets that they have and that they had from the previous year. Are they going forward with it? What do they want to exchange? How they're going to separate and spread their money between linear and digital and addressable. So it's a tremendous meeting down in Sandestin, man, and I love it every year.
Yeah, Scott, this is going to be a huge year for the SEC because not only do they have 9 conference games, they've added the Music City kickoff, and you also have the Aflac kickoff. The Georgia-Florida game is going to be at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Talk about these changes as the SEC has a little bit of a drought as far as national championships, but they still one of the top conferences as they try to win that national championship. But is it going to be is it going to be tougher having that extra conference game, or just talk about the state of the SEC?
Yeah, I think it is tougher because not only the added 9th game, there also is a clause in there where they have to play one of the other Power Fours, and so when you look at that, there's an increase of competition no matter how you look at it, especially if it's the 9th game. And, initially there was some pushback from Disney whether or not they would pay the SEC for that. But Commissioner Sankey was very clear on he would get paid for that game. And we did pay for that game. And so some of these kickoff classics and other things that are going on has always been about showcasing the conference. When you sign kids from all over the country, there are conversations about, we're going to play a game near your city or near your town so your friends and families can come see you and watch you play. And that's how they grow the grassroots campaigns of folks wanting to see and be and play for the SEC. But man, I tell you what, it's a tremendous way of marketing your program and the conference. But man, when you think about where we are right now, people are saying, well, the Big Ten have won the last 3 national championships, SEC. What you doing? What's going on? Well, I think this thing is somewhat cyclical. It was time for the Big Ten. You just kind of felt it. You always kind of knew Ohio State was knocking at the door. The unexpected piece was Indiana. Now, you can't tell me that I sat here at the beginning of the season and said, oh, yeah, it's going to be Indiana. No, I didn't. And if you guys did, come on, let's get some money and go to Vegas and let's put stuff down on who's going to be the winner this year. I didn't see that coming. So SEC is not going anywhere. We're still going to be extremely competitive. They know it's time to get in there and win another. And, quiet as kept, the Bulldogs down the road there return about 14 starters, about 8 guys that played significant time. If you didn't get them last year, you gonna have a problem with them this year. So I think the SEC is gonna be fine, and I look forward to them winning the national championship this year. Bulldogs.
Scotty Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Scotty, we go back over 40 years, man. We've been knowing each other since we were really, really young, and I divided, or at least I'll call it. If we call it a pot of gumbo, we're teammates. And, of course, we're former teammates and buddies in college. We're frat brothers. Of course, you're a media buddy of mine as well because we had a radio show in college, but also
WUOG
90.5 FM.
Where the music plays.
And also, again, the wonderful opportunity we had to play in the National Football League. But we've remained to stay in touch over the years. And a lot of people don't realize your media training and your media background. And, again, starting back then, but how, and again, this is the teaching moment, Scotty, as you make the presentations to sponsors and other executives in the with Disney and the SEC network. And I'm speaking to the masses as far as the young people to understand how important it is to make sure that you speak clearly and concisely and project in a way that obviously makes an impact. And how important was your media training, your communications major, being in the locker room, being able to be diverse? Because let's talk about that nice blend of opportunities that you had to put you in a position where you are now.
Yeah, man. I think first and foremost, it started with me having a vision, having a goal, visualizing what I wanted to do, and then trying to understand how to get the proper training to execute what I wanted. And then I had a partner named DJ Jones that, like on the track team, when you're running, you say stick, and you throw that hand back, and he puts that baton in your hand, man. You pass me the mic on the Power of Soul, man, and the rest is that blame history. I did all of my classes, and I learned how to speak diaphragmatically.
Okay.
What to do to die today? A minute or two to two. A thing distinctly hard to say, yet harder still to do.
Yes.
Two. A thing distinctly hard to say, yet harder still to do. And so I had some classic training and background training on how to speak diaphragmatically and throw your voice and bring the power from the inside. So all of that stuff, man. So, a lot of that stuff happens and people don't know about it. They just see the end results of where you are.
Yes.
But man, just like you've done the Chitlin circuit on all these other networks that folks don't know about in small towns. You did your thing, man. You cut your teeth to land where you are. And I just think it's important, man, that you figure out your path. You create a vision of what you want to do, like sports vision.
Yes.
And then you pursue it to the best of your ability, and you get training and you learn from people. And then you have folks like you that will give you an assist at the drop of a dime, man. You help so many kids. You and Thrift, you guys touch the community in a way that is so powerful, man. It is so powerful. And I always thank you for inviting me down to be a part of it and to just be in the audience, seeing how you guys connect with the community in a powerful way. And if you're a business out there and you don't understand the power of that, you're missing the boat. Sports Vision is in the community. Sports Vision, they are delivering listeners. Sports Vision, they're helping businesses thrive and succeed and connect with the people that they need to and want to. Everybody's trying to connect with the young folks, man, because if you can connect your product with the younger people, they transition through your product as they grow older, man, in a powerful way that can't be done in some other instances. So connect with Sports Vision, man, because they're connected to the community, which is the power and the financial resources for your business.
Very well said.
Scott, just one quick thing. I do want to mention back to college baseball because I think it's historic that the SEC still has 4 teams remaining. In fact, they all play each other.
I hate that. I hate that they're having to bang each other.
I know. We're going to have 3 teams left. Georgia playing Oklahoma, Alabama playing Texas. Georgia, they haven't won a College World Series since 1990. I know that would be great for the school. Texas has had multiple College World Series. Oklahoma, Alabama, that would be great for the school. Talk about what it means when you are an SEC school and you root for the college football team, you root for the college basketball team, but when you win a College World Series, how special is that if you're an SEC school?
That's really special, man, because, oftentimes the schools with the other Olympic sports and the other ancillary sports, there's a huge amount of pride that goes along with them because they're in there working just as hard as the football players every single day. And they see them get the lion's share of the attention. And it's just human nature for you to think, hey, man, we're pretty good over here too. And when they can step up and go to Omaha and do the things that they're doing and then can hopefully come out as a champion, it is such a moment of pride for themselves and for the conference. And to be able to do that, the way they're trying to do it now, man, it's simply awesome, man. And at one point, I'm gonna end up getting my lumpy behind out there on her to see some of these games out here, man, because that is about the only thing on my to-do list that I haven't checked off. But so I just hope they keep winning and going and sending teams out there so that I can get out there at one point in my career before it's over.
Scotty, we're up against the clock in 60 seconds. I know that you're a basketball man at heart. The New York Knicks, go New York, go New York, go. Were you pulling for the Spurs or were you pulling for the Knicks?
Man, can I say pissed off on this? Pissed off, man. So here's why I was looking at it in a different way. We budget a certain number of games, meaning Disney televised the championship games.
Nice.
And we prefer to go 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
It goes 7 games, it drives more revenue.
Right.
We drive more revenue, we achieve greater budget success. I had a different motive for it going 7 games. Now, having said that, I was kind of pulling for Wemby and San Antonio, but God darn it, I did not want it to end in 5.
I got you.
I did not. But hats off to the Knicks, man. It's been a long time coming. They weren't the most or the best skilled team, but they were the most physical team and the team that had the most staying power. They beat you up. They were physical and they never stopped. They never gave up. And they played it to the last second and were down by 10 points or more every dad blame game. All right, brother, that's my 60 seconds. I always appreciate you guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Go Dogs.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my friend Scott Williams. Go Dogs, man.
When it comes to being dope, hot damn, I got it good. Now let me tell you who I am. The BIGDADDYKANE.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Lori's Furniture Express, your express way to saving.
Looking for new furniture? Stop! You need to make sure you shop at Gorey's Furniture Express. Don't go anywhere else. With over 106,000 square feet of in-stock merchandise, you'll find a wide selection of just what you need. And you can take it home with you today. And that's only at Gorey's Furniture. You're going to love this place. Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
That's no moon. It's a galaxy of promotions at Synovus Park. June 23rd through the 28th, the Clingstones host the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Friday, join us for Star Wars Night with the jersey auction and the first ever post-game drone show presented by Piedmont. Saturday is Country Night. First 1,000 fans receive a cowboy hat presented by Neutral, plus a pregame concert, and kids run the bases from Raising Cane's. Then Sunday, the first 1,000 fans receive a peach jersey presented by Georgia Power, along with Family Sunday presented by Liberty Utilities. Get your tickets today at clingstones.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The only live and local sports morning show. It's the Sports Visions Morning Show with Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer on Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building, broadcasting from the PMB studios in beautiful Midtown Columbus. I tell you what, I really enjoyed. Big shout out to Scott Williams with the SEC Network, man. You know, we get to peel back the layers and talk finances and, of course, talk money, talk about that bag that he's able to assemble through his sports, or at least his sales team. And, man, I tell you, it's amazing how it gets done. But at the end of the day, it breaks down and it makes sense to me.
Yeah, we know that Scott Williams was rooting for a Game 7 in that NBA Finals. Because there have been more revenue, more money, still most watched NBA Finals since the Jordan Bulls in '98.
And I'm glad he did say that at the end, because again, here you see and hear about these folks working with the network saying, "Oh man, that game's fixed. They wanted to go 7 games," and then he basically came out and said, "Yep, you know what? We wanted to go 7 because the longer it goes, the more money we make." And hey, that's the bottom line in the TV business, man. Hey, look, let's go ahead and do this. We told you about Nubyjas, and of course, those of you who know him for being a part of our Sports Visions family, you know that this guy is knowledgeable. This guy has covered, has been a sports writer in all over the United States. He's the pride and joy of Atlanta, Metro Atlanta. Let's leave it at that, because he's been in and around in a lot of places in Atlanta. Let's welcome him this morning. Good morning. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good day to be alive, man. How's it going, gentlemen?
It's wonderful, wonderful. As always, man, we like to have you on because obviously you give us such an honest opinion, and it is factual most of the times with regards to your experiences in this business. And for the sake of the folks that might be hearing you for the very first time, I like to do this, and I know you don't like to brag about yourself, but let these folks share with these folks some of the companies that you work for.
Well, wow. I've written for Newsweek in their sports department. I've been with Sports Illustrated. I have covered the Pittsburgh Pirates for the Post-Gazette, covered the Atlanta Braves for the Marietta Daily Journal, as well as the Athletic. And I also have covered Auburn for AL.com.
You had to clear your thought on that one, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, won a State Writer of the Year award out of the state of Alabama, the first African American to do so for the National Sports Writers and Journalists Association. So, yeah, man, just been blessed to have some really good opportunities and still thankful to keep talking about sports.
In my neighborhood, you've turned a couple of corners. That's what the old guys would say.
I like it.
You turned a couple. But hey, listen, man, I want to get out there right away here. This young man from Texas Tech, Brandon Sorsby. He's he's raised a lot of feathers and he's got a little smoke going on here. But basically, he dibbled and dabbled, and they basically suspended him for 2 games. A lot of people got pissed off at the NCAA, saying that hey, this guy has had placed 9,000 wagers to the tune of $90,000, whatever. The kid has a freaking problem. But lo and behold, he has he and I guess anybody else that helped cut this deal has basically made it easier on college football and everybody else now, because he now has thrown his name into the hat and wants to go into the supplemental draft and take his game to the NFL. Now, let's back up a little bit, that we gave you a little preference with who we were talking about, because it's bigger than Sorsby. It's way much. He's just happened to be the figure right now that's that's on the camera. But sports betting and collegiate sports right now, Nubyjas, is in a world of hurt with regards to the amateur status and all of the companies that have come on, and the partnerships and the sponsorships that have been made with the professional leagues and the collegiate leagues, man. What's your take? Gambling in general, what in sports? Let's talk about it.
Whew, boy, where do we start? Well, I guess let's first get into Sorsby and what's going on there. Essentially, well, actually, we'll take it back even further. DJ, you may know, but I guess there'll probably be some listeners who would not know the names I'm about to say here. Paul Hornung and Alex Karras.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Paul Hornung and Alex Karras were two players in the NFL in the 60s. Hornung was a legendary Notre Dame quarterback who went to the Green Bay Packers, your old stomping grounds there, DJ.
Yeah.
And Alex Karras, who ended up becoming a father figure for Webster on the TV show. But Alex Karras also had a really good NFL career, but both their careers were tainted because they got caught gambling on sports back in the day. They each suffered a year suspension. If you look up those names, you'll see it. Even go back to the 1919 Black Sox scandal with the Chicago White Sox players, some of them allegedly engaging in throwing in World Series games. You know, things like that. Typically, gambling scandals have been a mar on the sports. Because essentially, man, when we sit down after a hard day of work or whatever have you to turn on the old TV, you know, pay, God knows what you're paying for your cable subscription. Then you have to have another app. And then you have to have an app within the app sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Watch these games, man. I mean, it is more, okay, we have more access to sport, but you have to pay a lot more to be able to watch these games, okay?
Okay.
When you spend your money, you take your time, whether it's buying a ticket to the game, whether it's continuing to pay these apps, you do this in part with the belief that what you see in that game are two teams trying their absolute best to win that game that day as fairly and squarely as possible. That is the best roster that each team has, and those players are giving their best effort ultimately for competition. That is why sports, I believe, is the best reality show on TV. It is the one show that comes on TV that you have to watch then. I mean, yeah, you can watch the replay of the game, but it ain't the same. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even as much as I enjoy wrestling, you know what I'm saying? Or they call it sports entertainment now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keep that note. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason why people bet on sports is because you believe it's real. It's because you believe it's something that is so trustworthy that you can bet money on it. When you have a quarterback of a college football team, and Brendan Sorsby made his bets when he was at the University of Indiana, which also I think they should be looked into, but that's a whole nother conversation there because he was on their team when it happened. The bets were on the sport he played, which already is pretty frowned upon. And I also think we have to discuss how easy it is to access gambling these days. It is easier than ever. All you got to do is just have one of these old devices right here and push two buttons and you can make bets. It's not the same as having to go to the back of some Italian restaurant and see some guy named Guido to make your bets. And there also might be a possibility if you ended up with no thumbs, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That used to offer a deterrent, or you'd have to fly to Las Vegas. You'd have to go on a casino boat that would have to go a certain amount of distance away from America for you to be able to gamble on. You know what I'm saying? And these are very real things that now it has become easier and easier to access sports betting. Also, another key factor is it doesn't take as much to manipulate the outcome of a sporting event as people would imagine. There was a recent scandal with Alabama State. By the way, Alabama State, HBCU out of Montgomery, won their first in the NCAA tournament game this year. But earlier this season in a game against St. Francis, where they were predicted to lose by, I think it was 6, they ended up losing by like 10 or 12. And it found out that there was some manipulation. And there were 4 players who, for the grand total of $2,000, according to reports from ESPN and other places, went and conspired on the scheme to manipulate the result of a game, i.e. basically throw the game. The players looked at it like, well, we were supposed to lose anyway, so we just lost by more. And that's where the problem becomes, because the problem becomes a lot of these athletes are vulnerable. Sorsby, I think he made $90,000 in bets, over 9,000 bets, right? Which probably most of them were relatively small. And it seems as he was able to repay his debts. The reason why this is important and the reason why you have to punish Sorsby in some kind of way is that there needs to be a deterrent against this gambling. There needs to be a deterrent for these athletes, for them to know that if you get caught, there will be a severe punishment. You're risking your career. You're risking your livelihood by doing this, because otherwise it's not going to stop. Now, do I think Sorsby should never be able to play football again? No, because Alex Karras got to play football again. Paul Hornung got to play football again. You know who else got to play football again very recently? Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
He had a situation while he was with the Atlanta Falcons, got traded to Jacksonville. That's when it came out that he had bet on some games from the team facility, by the way. But think about this. From Paul Hornung and Alex Karras in the 60s all the way up to Calvin Ridley, you had not heard about another NFL player gambling. Because, DJ, what's the first thing you see when you go into an NFL locker room?
Go ahead. I'm not. You go ahead. I don't want to say, because I think of a lot of things I see when I walk in.
Well, true. Okay, but there's also a big old sign in every NFL locker room. Big old sign. No gambling.
Okay.
In every NFL locker room you go into, it is, and they talk about it at the rookie symposiums. But now I think you're going to have to start talking to these athletes much younger about this. Also, the way that sports betting is slanted, you're seeing a lot of young men putting themselves in a lot of debt, like non-athletes. This is going to eventually transfer to athletes, because Sorsby could pay his debts. What happens if you can't? What happens if you can't pay that debt, and now those gamblers come looking to you for some money, and you don't have it? For insert all the reasons an 18 and 19-year-old might blow their money, DJ.
Absolutely.
And so then what happens? Now that athlete is susceptible. They're vulnerable to all types of manipulations. That's one of the reasons why you have to get a hold to this. Now, it is very fair to critique the fact that DraftKings and all these places also, and let's call ourselves out as sports media. A lot of us taking the gambling money too. Because when you watch a ball game right now, what advertisements do you most likely going to see in a ball game? Gambling, more gambling, insurance commercials, liquor, and more gambling. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But think about it. Like some of us go back to a time to where Brent Musburger and Al Davis Brent Musburger would sneaky mention, a late touchdown, or Al Michaels would gently mention, right. Or when he wouldn't use that language, he's like, the boys in the desert. Remember that? You know what I mean? My friends in the desert are pretty happy about this result. Or, so people may not be happy about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of little thing, right? Little gentle nudges, little winks. But now it's so much out there. I don't like the fact that the athletes know what the betting lines are. I don't like that the athletes know what the prop bets are. That's another thing that's happening. You have these prop bets where how many points a player is going to score, or rebounds, or yards are going to throw, or yards are going to run for. We've seen the situation with Jonte Porter in the NBA where he manipulated some of his prop bets, right, and bet against himself. On top of it, you know what I mean? Those are the kind of things that could cost a team a game. But more importantly, and I think the part that we have to really focus on here is sport is supposed to show us lessons. It's supposed to make us better people. It's supposed to unite us and bring us together. And if you can't trust the results of these games, that they're fair, that the game is officiated to the best of its ability, and that what happened in that result is a result of two teams playing their best and one team winning, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know a lot of things can fall down if we lose sight of believing what happens in the game is real.
Nubyjas, I don't know if you're familiar with the Boston College point shaving scandal of the late 70s, but this Brendan Sorsby cloud of suspicion because he bet on 40 games, the first thing that came to mind was point shaving, which obviously is a very, very bad thing. But just talk about when you are betting on a game that you are a part of and that you can manipulate the score. I mean, how dangerous can that be? And, we saw what happened with Boston College in the 70s. Could that be related to what Brendan Sorsby's doing when he was at Indiana?
Well, and it's the tricky part because I don't think Swordsby was actually playing in the games. He was on the team, which here's the thing about sports betting. It's an information game as much as it is anything, okay? As much as it is knowledge of sport,
right?
It is actually information. It is knowing, like, for instance, if you practice with the team, right, and you know what they're emphasizing on, and let's say one of the prop bets is the quarterback throws over under 300 yards, but you know through practice that the team is focusing on the run that week, right? They're focused on establishing the run. And you know your team has 2 healthy running backs who need to get their touches, okay? So you know most of the strategy is going to be running the ball. Are you going to take the over 300 or the under 300 for passing yards?
The under.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? And that just that one little piece of information. Or let's say it's baseball and you know it's a Thursday. Thursdays are typically getaway days. Thursdays are the day in which the team tends to perform the worst, right? Because it's the last day of a road trip, right? So, for instance, like let's say the road trip the Braves are currently on, they're coming back from San Francisco, right? All right, it's a pretty good chance that last day of that trip, you know, and you know how think about it in your own brain, right? When you have been in 3 cities in 7 days, that last day of that city, you try to get your bag packed. You're trying to make sure everything's right. You think about your honey-do list when you come home because you know it's going to be a list, fellas.
Yeah.
There's going to be activities and things that you're going to be expected to do. Oh, and you still got to play baseball games at home, unpack your suitcase. Your mind is not as focused on that baseball game that day. You get what I'm saying? And if someone is aware of this and knows this, just that little piece of information alone, that's before you get into manipulation. That's before you get into telling the running back, hey, man, you can afford a fumble today. You get what I'm saying?
I get it.
Or who cares what happens with that one pitch? Like, for instance, like the Cleveland Guardians situation with Clase, the closer, and another pitcher where they would do this thing called pitch rigging. And notice I said that slow to make sure I enunciated that correctly because that can sound a lot of different ways. Rigging a pitch to where there's outcomes on certain pitches. You can bet the outcome on each pitch. And if I know what I'm throwing the pitch and I tell 10 of my friends, hey, first pitch of the game, I'm throwing it in the dirt, and the odd is strike, ball, or hit, and I know I'm going to throw it in the dirt, and I tell y'all, hey, man, put some money on this. and again, that's manipulation, and there's a lot of different ways. And don't get me started on the scoreboard operators who could be vulnerable. And you're like the scoreboard, oh yeah, the clock operator.
Nubyjas Wilborn is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Nubyjas, there's a lot of different people listening to this. And some people are in tune and listening and understand everything that you're saying. But there's a novice group out there, and I consider myself novice because I got issues, but gambling was never one of them. But I did come up in a time when we had the numbers guy that took, you played the numbers, and of course they had the dice, and they had little crap games going on around, or a card game. But now, as sophisticated as it is, the technology is such that this thing has gone and grown a whole nother arm with regards to, and they call it sports betting, but it's still gambling. A lottery ticket, that's gambling. When you go buy go to a service gas station and buy, that's gambling.
Well,
where can we draw this line? It's legal, it's not legal.
Well, think about it. Your tournament pool.
Yeah.
That's gambling.
Yeah.
Fantasy football.
Yep.
It's gambling. Like once you put money on it, whether it's $1 or $1,000 or $10,000 or $1 million.
Right.
Once you bet money, put money on something for an outcome, that is gambling. Now I know people who refer to the lottery as a poor tax. Okay.
Or
poll tax, if you will.
Tax.
Because that is a way to get people who are more impoverished to spend their money on something. Because if you have less money, you're not you're not buying yachts and Louis Vuitton and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It gets you on those lottery slips. It gets you in that kind of way. And they'll take you $5, $10, $20 a day.
Yes.
Or sometimes more, depending on what people pay on the scrap. And again, everybody's got to do their own thing. My big thing is with sports betting in particular. Oh, and don't forget now, you have the whole casino in your phone for something.
Yeah. That's
the whole casino.
Yeah.
You can play slots right on your phone. You can play the card games right on your phone. Everything you can do in a casino, you can do on your phone, which means it's coming straight out of your bank account. It means you can do it at any time you want to. You get bored while you're waiting on something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and people do it. I mean, and it's real. Yeah. There are more people who are betting on sports than you would imagine, especially if you start to learn the language of it. You start talking about parlays and people start talking, like, you'd be amazed at how many people are betting on sports because they have the access. To me, I'd say don't do it at all, but I know some people are. What I will say is I do believe a majority of people can safely, wisely budget their money, make smart bets. Well, maybe not smart bets, but reasonable bets that they can afford to lose their money. Now, athletes should not be betting at all, especially on the sport they play, which is why, going back to Sorsby, I do think someone like him, a better punishment for him would be not playing for a season, but spending this time going and talking to middle school athletes and high school athletes about the dangers of gambling, about why they should never even get introduced to it, why they shouldn't touch it, and how it could directly impact their sporting careers and their lives. Because Sorsby is going to lose a lot of money. He's not going to get the NIL money this year. I think he was set to make $4 million. And the thing with Sorsby is he is an NFL prospect. And from what I understand from talking to people, I've never interviewed him, but from talking to people who've been around him, who've coached him through high school and different things, the boy got talent.
Yes.
Hey, and he got legs. And he can run.
Right.
I mean, not even like run for a white boy run, but he can run. I mean, he can scat, man, for real. Like he is a legitimate prospect. There's a reason why Texas Tech was trying to play that dude. Okay, it wasn't for charity for Texas Tech. You know what I mean? They can say whatever they wanted to say. They thought that boy could win them a national championship, and now they have to recover. So we'll see what they do, because as we know that they've invested a lot of money into that roster. He's going to lose that money. Now he's going to try to go to the supplemental draft. We'll see if a team takes him. I do think, from what I understand, he's going to have a workout. All 32 GMs will show up to this workout because, again, at the end of the day, the NFL cares if he can play. Now, if he does make the NFL, I do think there's got to be a lot of conversation, because I don't know if I would want my quarterback to be someone who makes the type of decisions that this young man does. But, again, I don't know this young man. They're going to spend their time. They're going to invest it. But to me, he should spend the rest of his time talking to younger athletes. Nowadays, start with elementary school. Seriously, like we really have to start these conversations earlier and earlier, because young men are betting on games in high school. They are. Like, they're taking, like, some of them are taking their mother's credit cards and starting these accounts because you can do them online, and they're betting now. They're talking about betting now. Like, they're not talking about sports the way I did when I was in high school. We were talking about sports, the games. They're talking about betting because they're trying to make some money, or so they think they're going to. I say all this to say, if you're going to bet on these games, do it responsibly, do it wisely, do it with a budget. That said, Vegas doesn't make its money off you being smart. And if you're one of those people and you realize that you have that kind of personality to where you can't stop, then you just can't do it. The problem is Vegas makes its money off those who have no restraint. That is how this is designed.
Let's go ahead and try to put a bow on this thing, man, because we could talk about this till the cows come home. Now, where does it stand as obviously the leagues, both professional and collegiate, their sponsorship with these companies, and you know the names of them? And I mean, how can we get a grip on this when we're doing business, when our higher ups and our corporate executives are doing business for the league on behalf of these sports organizations?
Man, it's a really tough conversation, DJ, and there's not really a simple answer. I mean, I wish there was, because there was, we'd probably be doing it by now. All I think that we could do in our communities is educate young people about the dangers of gambling. Because right now the commercials make it look so fun, man.
Yeah.
You see all these commercials make it look, ooh, yeah. Yeah, until you go in debt.
Yep, absolutely.
Or until you lose your house.
Yeah.
Or until your wife realizes you're spending $5,000 a month on betting. You know what I mean? And then now you got to explain that to somebody. Or
you don't pay your card note or your power
there you
bill.
go. There you go.
That's
I mean,
more.
and I do think that people have to be educated on the dangers of it. It should. I really wish it was not as easily accessible as it is, but this the path we've gone down. Where again, all you have to do is pick up your phone, push a couple buttons, and you have bet your money. I just think as a society, we have to be aware of this. We have to continue to have these conversations in public about it. We also need to have continued conversation with younger people because, again, they're coming up in a world where it's not taboo. It used to be very taboo to even discuss gambling in public. You used to sound like a degenerate discussing gambling in public. Now it's becoming more and more normalized, and more people are doing it. Also, don't sleep on the women. The girls are betting too. In fact, some of the commercials now are starting to be targeted towards women. You know, the girl boss. The girls can do anything that boys can do type thing, right? And you can get into that too, ma'am. But is that what you really want for your life? All we can say is, man, seriously, be careful. If you're gonna be betting on this stuff, be aware, be careful, be smart, and know your limits. If you're gonna do it, I would say don't do it, but
Nubyjas, as always, man, we certainly appreciate the fact that you dropped these nuggets on the Sports Visions Nation. Man, listen, have a great rest of your morning, and until we meet again, my friend.
Love.
Nubyjas, I'll tell you, man. You got an earfield full this morning, I tell you. You know what? Do you feel like you know a little bit more now about gambling than you did prior to this conversation?
Yeah, I am very well knowledgeable because of the information that Nubyjas Wilborn passed out to us.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk some soccer, man. I mean, we got to talk to somebody that actually understands and speaks the language very eloquently. And I tell you what, I'm excited about it. Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
You are listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Good morning. I'm Tiffany Maddox with a look at your morning's headlines. The Office of Elections and Voter Registration for Muskogee County says the final results from the runoff election are expected to be certified by the board by late Monday afternoon. This comes as 50 military and overseas ballots have not arrived, and 4 provisional ballots have yet to be reviewed. Meanwhile, Georgia's Republican legislative leaders rejected Governor Brian Kemp's call to redraw congressional and legislative districts during a special session. Lawmakers cite concerns about moving too quickly after a U.S. Supreme Court decision weakened Federal Voting Rights Act protections for minority voters. And we now know what's in the 14-point memorandum of understanding for the U.S.-Iran war. Some of the points include Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz with safe passage with no charge for the next 60 days, while negotiations continue, and reaffirms the regime shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. For WRBL News 3, I'm Tiffany Maddox. Make it a great day.
Good Thursday morning. We are off to a cloudy and mild start with these temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And as we go throughout the morning, we'll see a couple of breaks of sun as we track the remnants of Arthur arriving later this afternoon. Speaking of Arthur, we're going to be tracking heavy tropical downpours arriving this afternoon and continuing through tonight. Some potential for flooding possible along with some stronger storms. More rain possible on Friday before we see those rain chances decrease this weekend.
To get the full story, visit sportsvisions921.com and click on the WRBL tab. Sports Visions 92.1.
Opioids can start as a prescription for pain, but misuse can happen quickly, and addiction doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone. Take medications only as prescribed. Never share them and store and dispose of them safely. If you or someone you love is struggling, help is available. Call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Prevention starts with awareness. Learn more at georgiaopioidhelp.org, sponsored by the Georgia Opioid Crisis Abatement Trust.
Ashley Marine offers from the portable 2.5 Mercury outboard engines all the way up to the adrenaline-pumping 300 horsepower Mercury powerhouses. The entire 4-stroke Mercury outboard family features efficient, lightweight designs that ensure no power goes wasted. It's worry-free boating that's easy to own and fun to drive from Ashley Marine. 2 locations, Box Road in Columbus or Lee Road 379 in Salem, Alabama. Only 1 mile from the Long Bridge. More boats, lower prices, ashleymarine.com.
This Saturday at 7:30 p.m., Columbus United takes on rival Dothan United. And it's Military Appreciation Night presented by Scofflaw. Active military veterans and their families can get free tickets at Pro Real Soccer Shop inside Highside Market or ColumbusUnitedFC.com.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Now back to DJ and Thrift on Sports Visions 92.1.
It's a Throwback Thursday kind of day here at the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building. Big shouts out to, of course, our good friend Nubyjas Wilborn, again, giving us all of that information. I tell you, he went over my head with a lot of that stuff, man. But I tell you, you know what? If anybody's going to talk about it and to the fullest, it's got to be Nubyjas.
Yeah, no question about it. And it schools you up on the dangers of gambling. And I know it's Hollywood, but I'm reminded of movies like Uncut Gems and Hardball. So stay away from gambling if you have a gambling problem.
Good deal. Hey, listen, you know that what we like to say here on the Sports Vision Morning Show, we don't know all things in the universe, and we don't pretend to know a whole lot about it. But one thing is for sure, the FIFA World Cup matches are scheduled for today, features 2 A group matchups, and we are going to bring on a young man that's, of course, very, very, knowledgeable about soccer, if you will. Please welcome Tyler Dykes. Tyler, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Can y'all hear me good?
We can hear you, buddy. We can hear you, man. I tell you, you make me nervous. You're driving and you're talking to us at the same time. I wish you would pull over. I don't want to be responsible for anything happening, man. You sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm just on the road on my way to my day job, so I'm excited, but I'm still excited to be able to talk soccer with you guys.
Well, good deal. Thank you, and hopefully we won't keep you much longer than we need to, but I definitely wanted to bring you on because you are far the most knowledgeable person as far as soccer in this town that we know. And Richard, don't you agree?
I would 100% agree with you, DJ.
So, again, with this FIFA stuff going on, man, give us the rundown. I know you know the matches. You've been watching the games, but from a standpoint of having that particular event in the United States, how fortunate are we to have it?
I think we're very fortunate, of course. So, this is the first World Cup in the United States since 1994. First World Cup, and maybe the only World Cup in my lifetime. So it's big having 48s from all around the world qualify, come to the World Cup, come view America.
Having a little technical issue there.
You may have to.
Yeah. Tyler, we're having technical difficulties. Tyler, what we do? We're gonna take a minute here and reboot this deal here, if you will. Let's do that because again, we definitely want to hear from you.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better. Let's go ahead.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, again, I'm on the road. So y'all got me again?
Absolutely. Listen, man, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to put you in harm's way, but
you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, again, you're sharing with us, but let me just ask you this, because obviously, you were from around this area, and you're like me. You came up with the traditional sports. When did you get involved in the soccer at the rate that you have learned all of this soccer knowledge and understanding?
Yeah. One of the big things was my roommate that I went to college with, he was big into the sport, and he invited me to go with him to a United States Gold Cup match up in Atlanta. This was Georgia Dome. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium was being built. So we went up there, and that kind of got me interested in the sport. And just being able to grow up the last few years and go through college and just following the Premier League over in England, the MLS, things like that. So just growing in the game and also just seeing the excitement around the Columbus, Georgia area has been a really big thing too.
Tyler, when you think of the name Florian Balogun, what comes to mind and how good is this 24-year-old for the United States?
Yeah, he's doing a great job, scoring a couple goals there for us on last Friday. The big thing is, as you can tell, I have an orange Auburn shirt on, so I'm an Auburn fan at heart. So with my teams, I'm a little bit pessimistic. I was not expecting a 4-1 win against Paraguay to start off the World Cup campaign for us. So he did a fantastic job again, scoring those goals, creating the opportunities. And the United States team as a whole, they just went out there and played with their heart on their sleeve, played a fantastic game. They controlled that match all the way through, even though they allowed one from Paraguay. I think that put us in a great position to get it out of our group. But yeah, great job, fantastic player scoring those goals for us and creating the chances for the U.S. team.
Tyler, I know that World Cup matches are in Atlanta. Do you have plans to go and to see some of these matches in person?
I would love to go. Of course, the World Cup, I think one of the things about it, you can say this year, is the ticket prices are maybe a little bit up there.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to have the opportunity to go to a game up in Atlanta. Of course, they opened with Spain and Cape Verde, a surprising 1-1 draw there. But no, I would love to go. One of the things about the World Cup is the atmosphere that's created at these stadiums with the fans of these teams coming in. Of course, we had Argentina and Iceland over in Auburn last week, and bring 8,000 people who probably never heard of Auburn before or knew Jordan Hare existed to see and to get some of that Southern culture as well. It's just been great to see.
World Cup is World Cup, but we have some local soccer here that obviously for the people and more realistically, the kids to be able to witness. Talk a little bit about our local soccer team.
Yeah, Columbus United. I've been fortunate enough, Richard, called the last 2 home games for Columbus United, and the passion that those fans have too, because again, Columbus United is a small developmental club, and you would consider it maybe the 4th or 5th tier of American soccer. And just having DJ McClung, having the fans come out there and seeing some great soccer. Last night, Columbus United faced off against the Birmingham Legion second team. And one thing I can say about Columbus United is their resiliency. They were down 3-0 at the half. And in 45 minutes in the second half, Columbus United were able to come back and even the score and ended in a 3-3 draw with 2 goals being scored in the last 10 minutes. So Columbus has a great team. Also, what's great about Columbus United is that there is some local high school talent who has moved into that team as well. So just being able to see the development of players from local high schools having the chance to go in the USL too and have a chance to develop is something great to see. And again, they have one. I believe I heard this too in the commercial break before this segment. But Columbus United is facing off against Dothan United. That'll be Dothan United is in first, undefeated as far as I'm aware.
Yes,
going into this last round of matches. So got one more home game against Dothan. I think that's going to be a great team. That's going to be a perfect test for Columbus, seeing what they can do. Unbeaten at home, but Dothan United is a strong team in the South Central Division. So it'll be great to see. That'd be a great night again, Military Appreciation Night. So come on out and support your local Columbus United.
Yeah, Tyler, no question. I love the mixture of local talent like Nick Gettridge, who played at Pacelli, EJ Siraj, who played at Brookstone, Ryan Hollins played at Columbus, but you also have international players. Sako Kanate, this guy is a beast. He's like 6'5". He scored 2 goals in yesterday's match. Talk about how important it is to have a player like Sako Kanate. And what position does he play? Because I know when we were on the broadcast, you talk about 4-4-3-2 formations. And I know you got to start with the defensive, the mid-back positions, attacking midfielders. But is Sako Kanate a striker or is he an attacking midfielder?
So he plays in the defense. He plays in the back.
He does play defense. Oh man, got it wrong.
But what's interesting is yesterday he did switch to striker position for a little bit when they were down by 3. They just you can tell with the main formation Columbus United plays. They're if you're looking from their goal forward, their right back, that's been a weakness of theirs because both Montgomery and Birmingham, both of those teams were just sending crosses in that direction, and they got 80 to 90% of them to their attacker in that way. So at halftime yesterday, they switched to a more 4-4-2, 4-3-3 formation, and they sent Kanate forward some because they're down by 3 at that point. You might as well send your tallest guy in there, try to find his head against everybody else. And it worked for him, scoring 2 goals. And I think I know it was the second goal of the match if you go back and look at it, but he scored a bicycle kick off a volley to get their second goal. Yeah, it was a fantastic goal. So Kanate has been able to he primarily starts as a defense, but last night they moved him up to more attacking mid striker role just to see if they could create chances, and they did.
Tyler Dykes is our guest this morning on the Sports Visions Morning Show, and Tyler is our resident soccer expert. He's also a wonderful broadcaster with Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Tyler, for the folks of us that are novice, that when we're getting enamored by all the commercials and promotions about the World Cup. How do we decide what game we should watch? I know it's based on our time and schedule, but when we do watch and we don't have a snowball chance in hell of knowing the rules and the players, but how do you recommend we watch?
For us, start with the USA. Watch them. Get to know, because something I love about this is more going back to like European soccer cultures, but their whole idea is like, if you're in this region, you kind of follow this club kind of deal. So if I was a novice wanting to come in and just get to know the World Cup, follow the US number one, and then follow. If you want to, follow in Argentina for Messi, follow a Portugal for Ronaldo, follow a Brazil for their pageantry that they have in the World Cup. Just find a second team as well that you can follow, and then just watch the game. There's going to be there's a lot of different things going on in it. Don't worry about formations, but just watch how the play is spread out throughout the match, and I think that will get you into it. I would say for me, I think, Richard, you are definitely, your strong suit is the players. You can name, you're like an almanac for players in any sport that you follow. For me, I may not know players that well, but I follow teams more. I kind of see what they're doing tactically. So it's just finding your little niche in the sport as well, and follow it that way as well. Maybe not focus on players, just focus on the game itself, and that might get you into it.
Yeah, no question about it, Tyler. And unfortunately, I was not able to be on the broadcast with you yesterday because I had a family emergency. But you and Matt Melton just knocked it out of the park. You had great chemistry together. Why does soccer announcing come so naturally to you? I know you know the game, but you have a flow to it, and you kind of, because you know formations, you know attacking strategies. Talk about what makes your ability to call soccer games very special.
I think it's just learning it tactically. Like I said, I'm not my strong suit is not being able to identify players and knowing players. My strong suit, I would say, is looking at the game tactically, seeing what they're doing, and just seeing the flow of the game too. And I think soccer is kind of a great I feel behind the mic too, I'm really good at improvising a little bit.
Yes,
just being able to kind of go with the flow. And soccer, kind of like basketball in that way, is very go with the flow. Like in football, you may not know the exact play that they're about to run, but you've got like 30 or so seconds to kind of take it all in, talk about what just happened and what they might do next. Whereas soccer, it can go back and forth so quickly. So I think just being able to improvise and just kind of seeing your formations, what you've got, I think is another big thing too to have when you're watching a soccer match like that.
Well, Tyler, I certainly appreciate you dropping in and stopping by, and of course, enlightening us on, of course, the soccer, man. I tell you, hopefully, over the next few weeks or few days of the World Cup, you'll stop in and you'll check in with us and keep us up to date.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Tyler Dykes. Tyler, have a great rest of your morning, buddy.
All right, you as well.
All right. Hey, man, I enjoyed that. Oh, yeah. I mean, he made me, he makes you comfortable because, again, sometimes when you don't know what you don't know, it takes a person like that to help you be more comfortable and more willing to listen and to want to watch, because at least, you got a little something going on. But when you don't know what's happening, you don't understand the game, you don't know the rules, it's tough.
Yeah, like I've known Tyler for about 2 years now, and he's been a very, very well versed, not only producer, but on-air talent. And then I started picking up the fact that he does soccer, and he's been able to call some soccer matches with me. He's called some soccer matches by himself on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and he just has got a natural flow to it. And we appreciated Tyler Dykes just giving us that soccer knowledge, especially with the World Cup going on.
Really cool, man. Really cool. He made it sound very, very interesting. It sounded like, standing at the water cooler talking football or baseball or basketball.
And look, I'm not going to be as well versed as the Premier League like Tyler Dykes is. I joke around and say, well, he's up at 3:00 in the morning watching Premier League matches. No, but he loves like soccer as a whole, international soccer, all those international leagues, Premier League, Bundesliga. I'm just a casual soccer fan because I like MLS. I root for Atlanta United.
Once again, thank you, Tyler Dykes. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and take our final break of the day and let you know that you're watching Facebook Live as well as YouTube, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sportsvisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on Sportsvisions 92.1.
Get ready for an unforgettable night at the Columbus Civic Center on Saturday, June 20th. Witness the Columbus Lions take on the Jersey Bearcats in a crucial American Arena League battle. More than just a game, this evening is dedicated to Peak Out, Cancer Awareness Night supporting a vital cause. Prepare for an explosive halftime show featuring a live performance by the iconic rapper Lil Scrappy. And be sure to sign up for the Kick It to Win It challenge at the merchandise table for a chance to kick a field goal for $6,000. Get tickets at the Columbus Civic Center.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection.
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mira Fiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mira Fiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, if you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each. $30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rates reserved.
Catch the Paul Five Bomb Show, 3 to 7 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's 3-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Richard Holdridge in the building. Big shout out to Tyler Dykes, man. I tell you what, I feel so much better now. Of course, having somebody to, on an even keel, explain the nuances, the ins and outs of soccer. Not that I, can understand him, but I do feel a little bit better now. And again, I can, he says, at least if you're a novice, just follow the United States first and foremost and who they play and how they play. Obviously, you can Google the schedules of the World Cup soccer action over the next few days, and definitely that'll get you in the game.
Yeah, they play Australia this Friday, 3 o'clock. It is going to be at Seattle Stadium because that's what they're calling it. You can't call it Lumen Field. You can't call it SoFi Stadium. For an entire month, they're just calling it by their cities and their stadium. But the United States does take on an Australia team that beat Turkey 2-0. So right now, Australia and the United States are tied at the group. It's looking like they said that the United States has a 99% chance to advance out of the group, and mainly because they expanded to 48 teams. So now the third place team has a chance to make it out of the group into the round of 32. But then they face Australia. They'll face Turkey next, and then they will have group play. But I like their chances to win the group, DJ. I was so impressed with that win over Paraguay. Most goals scored in World Cup history, and they were aggressive. That first half might have been the most perfect first half the United States men's national team has ever had in a World Cup.
Good deal, and I'd like to welcome all of our members of the front row on the Sports Visions Morning Show. David Crowell, welcome in. And again, we saved a seat for you. Mike Frost, we always appreciate you as well. And again, Bobby Brown coming in. Stanley Crowell, Rodney Lawrence, Ricky Rogers. I tell you, man, all of that's the entire first row of the Sports Visions Morning Show. Now, again, we have another row right after that. But again, we're up against the clock. We're moments away from, obviously, this show being in the books, but you're welcome each and every morning, weekday mornings right here at 6 a.m. We want you to tell a friend about the Sports Visions Morning Show, and that we do have seats available in the front row.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody that has listened to us faithfully, not just on Facebook and in YouTube, but those that were listening to us on Sports Visions 92.1 FM. But also, we appreciate the feedback. We appreciate everybody that chimes in to let us know that you are listening and, commenting about the show. And we're glad that we're able to give you the best informed possible show when it comes to local, regional, and national sports. Because where else are you going to get a local sports talk radio show 5 days a week here in Columbus, Georgia, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m.
Absolutely. Hey, Rich, officially we're still not officially at the day of the first day of summer. I don't think. I believe what is the first official day?
June 21st.
Man, goodness gracious, still a few days away. But guess what? People are still looking for things for their kids to do. And I know I have a wonderful camp that's been going on now for about 11, 12 years or so. And we have a very, very prominent young man that is in the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame. Yep. He's a former SEC player, a rookie of the year, a freshman of the year. Yep. He's a HBCU All-American, and he's a former NFL running back, one that he could take it to the house. I mean, I'm talking about he can pick him up and put him down. Isaiah Crowell is having his, his free youth football camp and combine experience, and that'll be on Saturday, June the 27th at Shirley B. Winston Park. Now, again, I'm going to say this. We put registration up online via Eventbrite on Sunday. And as of right now, of course, we're looking for 200 kids or so. But in the last 3 days alone, 75 people have signed up.
Wow.
We still have 125 slots available. But I'm telling you right now, as it have every year, we've completely sold out of those free slots. All you have to do is go to Eventbrite and, of course, have sign up, get your spot in the camp. And again, I tell you, I just want you to know that that's the way to do it. If you haven't already found out about it, because we've been online with it, we've also gone to social media with it. But I'm telling you out of my mouth, go to eventbrite.com and sign up for the Isaiah Crowell free youth football camp and combine experience.
It's a free camp. One, you're going to get best instructions from former NFL players. You're going to have a mock combine, which I think is really cool. We're going to feed you either Chick-fil-A or Chester's Barbecue, and you're going to get a free T-shirt. So why not take advantage of this? And we are excited that we're going to be there at Shirley B on June the 27th, and can't wait to be a part of Isaiah Crowell's football camp once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I tell you what, time flies, and again, time waits on no one, man.
No,
Can you believe that we started this over 11 years ago?
Yeah.
11 years ago, we started doing this.
Unbelievable.
And the fact of the matter is that Shirley B. Winston Park is where Isaiah Crowell started playing his youth football. He scored his first touchdown in an official game, a youth league game at Shirley B. Winston.
I want to guess the team, and I hope I get this right. Did he play for the Eastway Cherokees?
You know what? I'd be willing to say yeah, but I mean, I don't take me in.
I know if I got it wrong. Just
Eastway Cherokees. That's a brand, and that's a team that everybody obviously knows. Just like the Edgewood Red Devils, where I played.
There you go.
The Eastway Cherokees, and you got the South Side. This, that. I mean, you got a lot of different wonderful organizations in town. But yep, that's where he started. That's where he cut his teeth with football. His mom, of course, Debbie, and his dad, Chuck. They spent a lot of time out at Shirley B. Winston. Hey, with that said, listen, man, we have had a great show today. Again, Tyler Dykes, thank you so much for that soccer information. Scott Williams, behind the scenes, pulled back the layers, gave us all of that business from the SEC network, man. And you know what? That means a little bit more. And when you understand, the dynamics of the SEC network, it's more than just a game.
Yeah, definitely more than just a game. And Scott Williams brought it to us. He brought the knowledge of everything that's going on in the SEC network and getting ready for SEC Media Days in Tampa, and, of course, putting a bow on this College World Series.
And, of course, Nubyjas Wilborn and sports betting, better known as gambling. I don't give a damn if it's a lottery ticket, if it's an app on your phone. It's something's got to be done, man, with, amateur sports, professional sports, gambling. I mean, these players now being, casted off and look, and it's amazing what's been able to do. But, again, the powers that be, in professional sports and in collegiate sports are making it so easy now, and because they're partnering with these companies, these sports betting companies, man. And I don't know, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah, I got this image in my mind now. Like, if you don't pay off your gambling debt, that Sylvie, Polly, and Christopher Moltisanti are going to be all three lined up, and one's got a baseball bat, and he's just whacking it, just preparing. And I'm like, don't get into that gambling problem. That's way too dangerous. And I don't want to spoil the ending to Uncut Gems, but my word.
Big shout out to, of course, Jack Patterson as well with WRBL News 3. And, of course, Roger Schultz, man, I tell you, he took me back down to Broadway when we had the show. And, of course, the station down on Broadway, WDAK, AM 540, the Sports Monster.
Sports Monster.
Yes, indeed, man. I tell you, from humble beginnings that we came, but look at us now.
Yeah, I love Roger Schultz. I love when you bring back greats from broadcasting in the beginning days in Columbus, paving the way for sports broadcasting. Guys like Roger Schultz, Mike V, and Bobby Z, Josh Pate, and Scott Miller was doing sports broadcasting. He's still in the community. It's just great just to bring back those living legends.
Absolutely. Richard, as far as I know that it's kind of a lull period for you with local sports, but I know you're going to find and figure out some way to get involved with some local broadcasting.
Yeah, it's a slow sports week. It's going to be a slow sports week next week. I know Georgia Alabama Sports Live has got their 7-on-7 tournament at Smith Station. Of course, we got Columbus United FC this Saturday. It's military night against Dothan United. And Thrift Barringer is starting that City with an athletics director state of the programs. And who knows, we might have some new schools added, but I can't wait to see him have a conversation with these ADs.
Good deal. Hey, listen, I know that I'm going to be trying to find me a spot to sit and watch this New York Knickerbockers parade. I mean, it's going to be a ticker tape parade, man. Listen, I know it's going to be actually happening in about an hour. So figure out how you can, go get off work or take a break and get in and get in the action. You want to be a part, because this will be the biggest ever.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, you hear the music. You know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Visions Morning Show. On behalf of Richard Holdridge, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
You've been listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
I need to get better.
Big news from Sons Chevrolet Cadillac. We've moved to our brand new location at 5730 Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus.